Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs for caring for your home. Out. Indecision, overthinking, second-guessing every choice you make. In. Plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out. Beige on beige on beige. In. Knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Brownstown Township, Michigan, a person seems to suddenly become unhinged, saying and doing some very odd things, including murder. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder. Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. And welcome. Well, first of all, my name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Yes, and welcome to episode 200.
Here we
I was
are.
excited. I want to jump the gun
jacked.
on episode 200, which is that's pretty cool. I got to say, it's awesome. We're happy. Thank you for hanging with us for so long. If you guys have been here the entire 200 episodes, wow, amazing. If this is your first episode, amazing too.
Hell yeah.
Happy to have you on board. We have a crazy case as usual today. We're going to go up to Michigan, which is nice. We always have fun in those.
Was that our first episode?
No. We had, I think, the fourth
First was
one.
Sarah. Fourth was Manistee.
Yeah. So we've done a few Michigans. They're always weird. Mm-hmm. We like that Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois,
raw Midwest.
Yeah, Iowa, that whole area, man. You guys have some good murders out there, everybody. I got to tell you, you're losing your minds, and it's interesting to
You're
chronicle
perfecting the crazy ones.
You really are. So before we get into it this week, Yes, thank you for being here for 200 episodes. It's episode 200, so if you haven't done it yet, Apple Podcast, that purple icon. It's been 200 episodes. Go, you know what? I was going to wait a while, but
so much time.
I figure after 200 episodes, what the heck? I'll give it to him. So do that. That helps out a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything small town murder and crime and sports related. Get all your merchandise there. You'll have updates on the live show, reschedules, and everything. By the way, virtual live show.
Speaking of live,
will take place January the 29th. No prisoner dating game. It's going to be a regular episode, just like a live show like we do on the road.
An actual show?
Yep. We're going to pretend like the camera lens is the theater, and we're going to have a ball with that. We got mics and everything, so it's going to sound great. It's going to be awesome. Enjoy that, and we'll let you know when tickets go on sale for it. But January 29th, mark that down right now. Listen to Crime and Sports if you haven't yet. Give it a shot. We had murder this week.
We did.
Listen to a cold case, DNA case. It was crazy. Check that out. Also, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie because I had to watch Twilight to make that. And as you can imagine, I was not thrilled.
I don't know that I would do it, James.
I
can't imagine.
I lost my mind several times, both during the recording and the watching. So that's all fine.
Is Patterson terrific?
That sounds terrible. So also Patreon. We have so much bonus stuff, and you need to have it because it's really good. Get on Patreon, patreon.com/crime and sports. The last one we put out a couple days ago was just kind of a history of Thanksgiving Day murders.
It's a lot.
That was a crazy episode. You need to hear that episode.
It's surprising.
It's surprising.
It is.
I really was surprised, but there's so many of them, and it's kind of through history. Some of them are real old, so they're just goofy as can be, and it's a lot. So check that out.
Murder on Thanksgiving is nothing new when we found that out.
We figured it out. We did the Mark Chimura trial for the Crime and Sports bonus, and you'll get access to all that stuff at patreon.com/crime and sports, and you'll get a shout out. Jimmy will mess up your name at the end of the show. And then in addition to that, if you want to just get your name messed up and have good karma, you can do that over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Disclaimer quickly.
Yeah.
It's a comedy show.
It is.
It is. Stories are real.
Yeah.
How hard would it be to write these stories?
Impossible.
It'd be ridiculous. So, yeah, it would be like just a Mad Lib, basically.
It's hard enough to write it all down, right?
Just what happened. Yeah. And if I had to make it up, it'd be crazy. So they're all real. Nothing's embellished for comedic effect, but crazy things happen around murders. That's a wild decision.
It is.
Let's kill that person. There's some funny stuff happening. I guarantee you there. So it's just wild. What we go out of our way to do is we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why?
Because we're assholes.
You get it.
But we're not scumbags.
There it is.
That's how it works. Now, if you think that sounds awesome, we're going to have a good time. If you don't think true crime and comedy should ever go together, then maybe we're not for you. You never know. Listen, though, give it a shot because I don't think it's probably what you think it is. Right. But if not, then we get it. Don't complain later.
Right.
We warned you.
Yeah.
But for everybody else that wants to hear a crazy story for the 200th time. By the way, the next few episodes are insane. The calendar is wild right now. So lock in and stay locked in and shout, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy.
All right.
Let's go on a trip, shall we?
Yes.
Oh, let's do it. Another trip, our 200th trip. We are going to Brownstown Township, Michigan.
It's a lot of town.
Why would you name Brownstown, not Brownstown,
right?
Brownstown Township. And in the middle of that, it's sometimes called Brownstown Charter Township. They stick that in there sometimes, so to make it more complicated. Sometimes they just call it Brownstown, sometimes Brownstown Township, sometimes the whole enchilada go with the charter in there as well. Up in Michigan, this is southeastern Michigan, suburban Detroit is what this is. It's about a half hour to downtown Detroit in the burbs, 45 minutes over to Ann Arbor. You want to go somewhere else that's kind of civilization.
It's where the college is, right?
Yeah. And then 2 hours and 10 minutes to Nashville, Michigan, which was episode 161.
My God.
Our last Michigan episode.
Have I not been paying attention?
Apparently not.
We were in Nashville,
Michigan.
Jesus.
Yeah, we were. And on March 4th.
Oh.
It was like a body in a ditch on the side of the road, which I don't blame you for not remembering because March 4th feels like, I don't know, 1941 it might as well be.
How crazy.
That's another.
I saw a picture from Thanksgiving because Facebook likes to remind you of shit every year.
Hey, wow.
And I was like, oh, that doesn't seem like that long ago. Then I started thinking, it seems like fucking 6 years ago.
Yeah, we did.
It's Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, honestly. So
this year has been so long.
It's been a bit of a long year. This is in Wayne County, Michigan. Like we said, where Detroit is, same county.
Right.
Area code 734. It is 30 square miles, so a big area.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little townships in here, little zip codes under this umbrella. Michigan works weird the way they do their towns. So the motto here, they have a motto, quote, where the future looks brighter.
Okay.
It's awfully, it's optimistic.
Rosy, yeah.
And there's an addendum to that, though. There's a postscript that
as soon as the smog clears.
Well, there's a postscript to it where it comes back every once in a while. It's where the future looks brighter, and so does the water because it's probably radioactive. So seriously, don't drink it. Don't give that to your kids. Seriously,
those are headlights. Get
a
off
bottle
the road.
of water. Yeah, this isn't good. Exactly. That's not great. So I'm sure that we don't want anybody's water quality to be terrible. That's awful.
Michigan, have they figured it out yet?
I don't think it's that good yet.
I haven't heard an update about them fixing it.
And you still can't drive on their roads either. I know. Their roads are still.
You
got to bring like a grappling hook and like a winch to your.
You rappel.
You have to pull people out of potholes sometimes that are very, very big.
It's unbelievable.
Just see an old lady's hand waving.
It's really
help her. She fell in the pothole.
She's got a DeVille in there.
It's her whole car. It's a '78 Buick. It's huge. I don't know. She's standing on the roof of it. I barely see her hand. It's very deep.
That place it's really baffling.
It's tough, man. So prior to the time it was a township, the area was involved in the War of 1812, actually.
Okay.
So it dates back a long time. People have been here for a while because it's right by the lake. So anytime anything by water has been populated the longest, obviously. What? Who? It's up by Canada, too. And
who fought in the War of 1812? I'm sorry.
There's us, and we're still. This was
my fault.
The British were back, and then the Canadians and the French were involved.
Really?
And, it was quite a little. We were
a skirmish.
There was a skirmish. Yeah, we were all
involved in everybody.
Everybody was involved. Yeah, there was a lot of shit.
I know.
To settle.
I could have paid attention, and
there was a lot of shit to settle.
Classes, and I didn't.
Just pay attention to this show. I think we've talked about it before.
Have we talked about the
probably
plot
not the War of 1812 very much. You mainly talk about revolutionary.
Probably just assume
War.
I knew.
I mean, the hell do we know? I don't know. Why would I assume you know? I don't.
I've heard of that war.
I mean, it's a war.
Yeah,
it's a
popular one.
Yeah, it's happened. A lot of people were in it. I think a whole bunch of people did that, man.
Fuck,
I don't know much about it either. Yeah. So the region now known as Brownstown was once part of the French province of Quebec.
Okay.
That's kind of what this was all about. The area eventually fell into the hands of the British and finally came into the American rule in the 1700s. Okay. So this went back and forth a lot. All these borderlands kind of they shift quickly. Southwest is the same way with Mexico, and, till there's a big war, and then they can.
And then they set some parameters in the sand, and we all agree.
Pretty well. One side agrees, and the other side agrees with a gun to their head, and that's the end of the conflict. So the original 43 square mile area, which is land south of Detroit, was designated a township by the Michigan Territorial Council in 1827, and Moses Roberts was elected as their first supervisor. So, wow. Made Brownstown one of Wayne County's 9 original townships. Now, the person it was named for is an 8-year-old boy.
Oh, boy.
Well, he grew up, but an 8-year-old boy named Adam Brown. He apparently was kidnapped by, so the legend goes. I mean, this happened in the 1700s, so honestly.
He wandered off. Let's be honest.
Who knows?
Yeah.
He could have been just wandering away and tripped and hit his head on a rock and rotted in the woods and nobody found him. And they were like, let's make a legend.
Yeah.
He never came back. So he must be king of the bear people or something. Who knows? So he was kidnapped by the Wyandotte Indians, as the legend goes. And they were in Virginia. I guess they took him there. And this is an account as recorded by A.S. Withers in the Chronicles of Border Warfare. This is just a quote from there. Quote, October 1764, a mixed band of 50 Mingo and Delaware warriors raided Carpenter's fort in Virginia. They killed Carpenter and made prisoners of Carpenter's son and 2 brothers, Samuel and Adam Brown.
Oh, boy.
So that's Adam Brown is the young boy. I guess he ended up growing up among the tribe that he was kidnapped into and ended up marrying a native woman.
Okay.
And according to the whole historical accounts of the thing, he ended up becoming like an important tribal elder, became one of the leaders of the tribe.
Wow.
Which is strange, but it happened, I guess. And I guess his name is on several treaties with the American government.
Interesting.
As signing for the Indian side. So very, very interesting. And then he sided with the British in the War of 1812. And moved to Amherstburg, Ontario, after the British defeat. Okay. So that was up in Canada, obviously. Canadian church records show that he died in September of 1827 in Windsor, Ontario. Okay. And as time passed, they started making this into land, and they ended up, that was the year they incorporated the town, and they named it after him because I guess he died that year.
Very nice.
So his name was in the consciousness at the time. The township is also home to the Chevrolet battery pack assembly plant right now.
Oh, my.
So the Chevrolet Volt battery pack, the Volts they make.
For those cars.
Yeah, for the cars there. So there's that.
Okay.
And, it's a part of a collection of communities known as Downriver. It's
gross. That sounds awful.
Just shit floating.
Yeah.
Shit floating down from Detroit. Wonderful. The 3 separate segments are due to the incorporation of the cities Flat Rock, Rockwood, and Wood Haven. So anything with rock or wood, it must have in the title. You have to have that in there. I have reviews of the town.
Can't wait.
They're all... You'll see a pattern here. This town is very, very mediocre. We'll put it that way. Here's a 3-star review. It's an average review. Quote, not a bad place, but not an amazing place. Not very diverse, so if you want any foods that are a bit more diverse, you might have to drive a bit. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Not small town. I see strip malls.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing. I see a lot of like Domino's Pizza.
Barbecue joints or hamburgers.
Or what's the pizza they have there? What's the Detroit one? What's their chain?
I don't remember. Detroit has a type of pizza, though, and it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's a deep
better
dish,
than
though.
Whatever the hell they're serving in Cincinnati.
Yeah. It's just a thick crust. It's a pan crust.
Yeah, but it's not bad, though.
It's kind of a spongy crust. It's pretty good.
It's got good flavor to it. No, it's tasty.
I'll fuck with Detroit.
It's a tasty pizza. I like it there. So, what's the worst pizza I had was Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Salt Lake City, we ordered pizza, and it was hot. All the pizza there in Salt Lake City, for some reason, spicy pizza is a thing.
That's a favorite.
Which isn't okay, because after a show, I want to eat like 5 slices of pizza. My fucking lips were on fire after we couldn't eat the pizza.
It was a spicy, but it was cheese, right?
Spicy cheese,
right?
It was burning. I mean, I like a little spice, but this was like you couldn't eat 3 slices of pizza because your lips were on fire.
That's in the sauce, right?
It's gotta be. I took the cheese off. It was hot. I ate just the cheese. Just the cheese was hot. The crust was hot. Everything was fucking hot. Which Salt Lake City, what are you doing? That's the most mild, boring place in the world.
The least spicy place, at least in America.
There's not a speckle of pepper in that entire city. Never mind.
They put it all in our pizza.
That's it. They're stuffing it in there. Chili's or something.
Weird.
Yeah, so here's a 3-star. I would say it is an average suburban town. There's a big mall with a movie theater near where I live.
All right.
So this sounds just...
Can't go wrong there.
The burbs. Yeah. 3 stars. One of the things I enjoy about Brownstown, Michigan is the familiarity.
I know this shit.
I know this shit. It's not that much to know. I enjoy living in a small enough city where I'm able to know my way around every corner. Although I do get bored of the city easily and would like to see more activities for teenagers to do in the future.
Okay.
Here's one that's very specific to this person. 1 star. Hard to find a job with respectable coworkers. That's all.
What? I mean,
he's a very specific beef that people take out on a review of a whole town. 2 people, Bob and Ted, were dicks at work.
And every job I get, there's a Bob and a Ted there. Every last one of them.
Must be the town's fault.
How does everybody get to hire a Bob and a Ted?
Not my fault.
Not just a bunch of me.
Not me. It should all be me.
I'm amazing.
Here's 3 stars. There are a lot of teenagers pulling pranks. Some have chopped down our mailbox 3 times.
What?
Threw eggs on my car and put stink bombs on my porch. Not a very big fan of living here because of that. Well, yeah, it sounds like those kids are the problem. It's probably a specific group of kids, I'm going to say.
Who chops down a mailbox?
Chopped it down 3 times.
3 times.
You will not have a mailbox, motherfucker. No mail, I told you.
Find a kid with an axe and you got your culprit, sir.
Jeez, walking around looking for... Wow. Okay, here's another 3-star. The area I live in is decent. However, it is not anything spectacular. It's exactly this mediocrity. There are not a lot of fun activities to engage in, and there are not a lot of beautiful parks to visit. The school district is a really good one, and there's nothing bad to say about it. I enjoy living here. However, I would not mind moving to a prettier, more fun area. Okay. So I kind of like it, but I don't, and I'll move, but maybe not.
Careful on how you describe fun, sir. Your neighbor hates the stink bombs on his porch.
Maybe that's fun.
They think it's fun.
You know what? Maybe you're not fucking around the right way. Maybe you need to get out there with some stink bombs and an axe and have yourself a ball.
Buy yourself a potato gun, sir.
Find yourself some mailboxes. Yeah. You ever done that?
Get some dry ice and some 2-liter bottles. Mix it up.
Buy like a 75 Ford pickup and just hit them with your car. You can hit. It's more efficient with the mailboxes. Ba-boom, ba-boom. I knew a kid who had
a steel truck.
I know a kid who had a 72 Duster in high school.
Yeah.
It was the biggest piece of shit. Yeah. It had no floor in the back, holes, so you could pee. Kids would piss out of the holes while the car was moving.
Out the floorboard.
You pull up the floor mat. You'd have floor mats, so it was, rocks wouldn't shoot up and hit you in the eye while you were driving, because that happened.
Keeps the salt out of the car during the snow season.
Exactly. But this car was a giant steel shit box, and we'd be driving, and he'd be in a neighborhood, and he would just go swerve into and just bang, bang, metal garbage cans flying all over the place. Boom, boom. He'd take out a fucking mailbox. No, he didn't give a shit about his car.
Swerve back on the road and get his balls off.
Boom, boom, boom. Man, he was just laughing. He was a dumb kid, too. He was real dumb. But, it was the funniest goddamn thing in the world. Like, what are you doing? Why'd you do that? Now, if somebody did that, I would kill them. I'd hunt them down and murder them.
Well, in Arizona, thankfully, we have cinder block mailboxes.
Yeah, that's not
You're going to fuck your car up.
Yeah, good luck.
Your Honda Civic won't take a mailbox
Mine out front, it's built into a 2-foot wide brick structure. Like, there's no way.
Cultured stone around it.
Oh, you'd have to.
Anchored 2 feet in the ground.
Yeah, you need like some crowbars and hammers and axes and shit to get at that.
It's sturdier than bullards around a gas pump.
It is. It really is. Well, my mail is safe anyway, so that's helpful. I'm very happy about that. So people in this town, population 31,026. So, and it's up a lot since 1990. Okay. Our case took place in the 70s, so it was a lot lower then. It was kind of more out there burbs. It was farmland and shit around here. Now it's getting just more suburban. Yeah. But it's up 65% since 1990. Female and male population's about normal. Median age is 40 years old. It's a couple of years older than normal, but nothing extreme. No wild. Yeah. There's not an exorbitant number of elderly people or anything.
Middle-aged Detroit commuters.
Kind of. They have kids. Married population's a little bit higher than usual here. It's that sort of thing. Divorce rate's a little higher, too.
Wow.
Which, hey, listen, people are going to lose their minds.
People are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's, you never know. So everything else, though, is about average, single with children, all that kind of shit. Racially, even race of this town, 79% white. About almost 8% black, 5% Asian, so close to the averages. A little more white, a little less black, but everything else is pretty close. Less Hispanic people, too, 6.7% there. Religion, 42.2% of the people here are religious.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's spread around. Mostly Catholic is 17%, but it's not...
It's not overwhelming.
It's not blowing anybody away here. There's 6.5% other and shit like that. 0.0% Jewish, though. Yeah. Not happening, but 3.6% Islam.
Interesting.
Michigan has large Islamic communities.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a lot in
that might be the highest one we've ever had.
It really might be. In a small town, we don't get that a lot. No, that's like when you get a small town near Minneapolis and you're like, fucking 22% Asian in Minneapolis, and you're like, oh yeah, there's a lot of Asian people in Minneapolis. So unemployment rate in this town, it's pretty low because of that factory.
Okay,
they have a couple of factories, and they're you can. Apparently, it's commutable too. So there's jobs around here, and some manufacturing jobs, especially. Unemployment rates about national average. Household income, though, is a little bit higher out here.
Yeah.
National average, $57,652. Here, $72,289.
That's great.
So not too shabby. A lot of, like I said, manufacturing jobs, a lot of jobs at the Volt battery factory and shit like that. Cost of living in this town, 100 is average. Here it's 104.
Okay.
So not that bad.
It's pretty good. And you're making $20,000 more than national average.
That's what I mean. So
great.
Not too shabby. Housing is an 89 out of 100. Median home cost $206,500.
Okay.
Not too bad, but there's a lot of homes available between $100,000 and $300,000.
Terrific.
So you can you can live in this place. It's over 70% of the houses are worth between $100,000 and $300,000. So it's a lot of average. It's just a mediocre town. It's a very mediocre town. And if we've convinced you to shoot for mediocrity, you know what? Why shoot for the stars?
Shoot for the middle, babe.
Don't shoot for the basement. Let's shoot for something nice and comfortable. We have for you the Brownstown Township Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here goes for about $967. Doable. It's about right with the way it works here. I found a 4-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,555 square foot vinyl siding as far as the eye can see.
Yeah.
One of those here. It's a bit dumpy.
Yeah.
Nothing special. The kitchen's kind of crappy, stuff like that. But $149,900 for 4 bedrooms, 1,500 square feet. You can have a couple of kids and
one goddamn
survive. That's rough. I'm sure it's 1.5. I hope it's 1.5.
I'll bet it's 1.
Oh no, that's rough.
That's not easy.
Here's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,575 square foot. So it's kind of the same house, but nicer.
Okay.
More up to date. You know, it's had a renovation done in the last 10 years.
Right.
And this one's $205,000. So
great.
That's not bad. That's what I mean. You can get it renovated and everything. Then, hey, let's say you're the manager down at the Volt battery factory there. I found a 3-bedroom, 4-bath T-bowl for every beehole.
And one to go.
And one leftover guest beehole. Not bad. 2,776 square feet.
Yeah.
It's a good size. It's brick. It's really nice brick house with nice manicured bushes and grown-in trees. Really nice. $310,000. What? Not bad at all.
That's so affordable.
That's very, compared to other cities, that's really affordable.
For a big house like that, you can't get that.
If you look at Phoenix real estate, you're not getting that.
You're never getting that.
You're getting nothing made of brick anyway.
No.
Especially not. But
it is plywood and mud.
That's it. You could kick your way through a Phoenix house's
You can.
wall. Yeah. Don't bother breaking in a door if you want to burglarize a house. Just kick your way through the door because it's just plywood and chicken wire.
That's it.
You can just kick right through it.
Keep kicking the wall, and then use some wire cutters to get the rest of the way in.
That's it, and then you'll just walk right into the house. Just a big pile of shit. Things to do in this town. Here, the Uncle Sam Jam.
Oh, what?
I mean, what does that sound like to you? The Uncle Sam Jam.
Is it 4th of July?
Yeah, but it's just looks really cheesy.
Yeah.
I saw the one picture they have. There's a couple up. There's one of the logo, which is Uncle Sam with fireworks and a guitar and a Ferris wheel.
That's pretty cool.
A guitar over one, like an 80s, like a red electric guitar with a
Sammy Hagar, I Can't Drive 55 guitar
and
hanging
a Ferris
over his
wheel
shoulder.
over the other shoulder with fireworks, and he's pointing at you. He also seems to have like a sneer, like, yeah, motherfucker. Like, that's what he seems like he's saying. I want you, motherfucker, to have a beer and come to relax. And
I want you to stand and cheer.
This is what they really want you to see, the stage performance. See the smoke machines, and it looks like it's in like a small place. That I could see zooming in on the back of his jacket, because I'm like, who is that person with long blonde hair singing in the front? And it says Bret Michaels Band.
Of course it is.
So that is Bret Michaels. Not even with Poison.
Right.
Dude, just Bret Michaels Band.
Bret Michaels post Rock of Love.
Yeah.
That Bret Michaels.
They're like, do Every Rose Has Its Thorn. He's like, I can't.
I have to pay other people.
I can't do that. I'm going to do Every Tulip Has Its Root.
Every tulip has several petals. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Every tulip has several petals. Woo. Just rock. Does she love me? Does she love me not? So many things you can do with petals.
This song is
Every
awful.
dandelion, you can blow off all the seeds. Through the wind that's spreading.
Every daisy is white.
Come on, everybody.
Until Easter when it's died.
Every begonia needs to be watered. Everybody, come on. You put in miracles as she grows. Come on, everybody, join me. Woo! Like we don't.
I'll bet he says exactly that though. Come on, everybody, woo! I guarantee it.
At some point, a lot probably. Seems like a come on, everybody, woo kind of guy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Come on, everybody.
He's a giant douche.
Yeah. Take your tits out. He's a take your titties out kind of guy. Yeah, he's a fucking
he's definitely a guy that says things that shouldn't be said today.
Oh, yeah, a lot. He's like, I mean, not to be a jerk.
Did you ever watch Rock of Love recently?
Oh,
the things
actually,
he said on that
we had
show
to watch it for some podcast.
Are so bad.
It's horrific. He's like,
that show is just basically him saying all the different things that make him horny.
He's like, I'd like to put the women in a room, against their will, of course, and if we could just slip drugs into their drinks and then take their panties away and let's see what happens, right?
Put them in plaid skirts, no panties.
Fuck it, right?
In a sick sort of way, it makes me feel good.
Whole floor, nothing but camera. You know what I'm saying? Whole floor's a camera lens. I think we should do it, man. It's gonna. He would say shit like that. Like, what?
Brett, calm down.
Brett, Jesus.
You have diabetes and you're 60.
Horny bastard. You old horny fuck. We know what's under that bandana, horn dog.
A bald fucking head is what's under that.
Wispy blonde hair.
One of the dads asked him if he still has hair, and he was pissed. It's like, Brett, that's a logical question.
It's a logical question. Because you have a lot of it coming out of the back. Yet you have a Hulk Hogan do-rag, and we've been conditioned.
Right.
If we see long flowing blonde hair and there's a do-rag on top, there's nothing under that do-rag.
And that's why you wear it.
That's why you're wearing it.
Those are extensions.
Otherwise, you'd have fucking more hair popping out.
Otherwise, you'd be jacked to not wear that fucking bandana.
You'd be showing it off like crazy, like you did back in the day when he used to just wear it on
over
his
the forehead. Exactly.
So it wouldn't block his hair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You never saw that shit go over his head in Poison? No. Went around the front and the hair came over.
Oh, yeah.
And now...
So you had to whip it around and show the ladies what's up.
Now it straps over the top and you use the back to whip around.
Now he knows what he's doing.
We get it, Brett.
We got it.
Just be the new Wilford Brimley and be fine with it.
Happened about the same time where he had that permanent eye makeup put on. About that time.
When he tattooed fucking eyeliner.
What the hell's going on?
Why does he wake up like that? That's weird.
Creepy looking.
Got it.
Oh, I
His
see.
skin's died.
Oh, that's not... All right. Yeah, that's not normal. So, it's fine to do, but I'm like, that's not naturally occurring in his body is what I meant, not normal.
It's going to be weird when you're 80 and doing diabetes commercials and you've still got that shit on your face.
Yeah. So, I found 2021 music festivals and music events in Michigan here, and I'll just run down the list of them because the names are pretty funny here. One, the Jill Jack Annual Birthday Bash. I don't know what the fuck that is. The Motor City Music Convention Record Show. The Lansing Record and CD Show.
Okay.
The CD, no one's buying. It's 2021. Who the fuck is buying CDs? And it's at the Quality Inn.
Okay, now makes sense.
And it says dealers from 4 states find LPs, CDs, 45s, DVDs, and other music related. Wow, that sounds great.
Just
Jesus Christ.
Just get, that media that teenagers like, and then we'll do it at the hotel. We don't have to go far to stuff them in a room after we kidnap them.
Stick them in there and we'll put drugs in them and we'll sing every dandelion has its spore and it's going to be fine. So I like it. The Sphinx Competition and Finals Concert, which is an annual event for Black and Latino classical string players.
Okay.
They're very nice. And the WCSX Annual Classic Rock Swap Meet.
Holy shit.
What is that? What do you think it is? Classic Rock Swap fucking meet.
Buying all the merch that other people bought in the 80s.
Put it together. That's a sweet Def Leppard. Oh, man, that's a Pyromania tour. Look at that. That thing's badass.
Is that motor oil stains?
Oh.
Damn right it is.
It's worth more with them on them.
Been working on my truck for the last 20 years wearing this shirt.
Beautiful. Crime rate in this town. What we're interested in, property crime, it's just over half the average. So it's pretty safe in terms of property crime. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime is about 1/3 under the national average as well.
Great.
So yeah, you get right outside in the suburbs here, and it's a pretty safe little suburban town, strip malls, crap.
I love it.
Yeah, it's one of those type of places here. So murder is what we need to talk about. So let's talk about our 200th murder.
All right.
Let's do it. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Do this. So, all right, let's start out. We're going to go back to 1977. Mm-hmm. We're going to start out right in the middle of one. Yeah. Sometimes we'll start out kind of, here's a body. Sometimes we'll go, let's go back to the 40s. This person was born, and we'll talk about their upbringing. Sometimes let's just jump into the middle of some people's lives here.
Okay. Bicentennial plus one.
That's it. This is the one here. It's everyone. We're still all
jacked. I can't believe we've done this 200 years.
Oh, my God, 200 years. And by the 70s, we were looking to cut it short, I think, at that point. It almost all fell apart. So we've got to talk about a guy named Bruce Orville Ramsey.
Yeah.
So Bruce.
Yeah.
And Orville is his middle name. Okay. Which he's lucky it wasn't the other way around.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's a tough name to get
Orville
through.
Ramsey sounds like you're a proctologist. Doesn't it?
There's a country singer named Orville Peck, and he is terrific.
Really?
He's so bizarre, but I don't know how he landed on Orville. Unless that's his real name.
Maybe he's into proctologist.
Maybe
we don't know. That's what he does on the side. He disappears for a while. Yeah. He's got to, those doctors have to keep up on new.
Yeah.
To read the medical journals and things. He's got to come off the road every once in a while.
Wears a lot of pink and frills. It's possible he's into it.
Before every show, he slaps the glove on. His band's like, oh, man. He's like, come on, everybody. You know the deal.
You know what I like.
I got to make sure there ain't no polyps or nothing before we get going. I don't fit on stage with no man with no polyps. You want to sing every goddamn begonia?
Fucking hell. Unbelievable. Flowers.
You want to sing every hibiscus has its leaves, then that's fine. But you're going to have to take the finger first.
You want to get into that bonus chorus about poinsettias. You better bend it right on over.
Come on now, boy. We got a lot of songs to sing. Bend on over. I could name flowers all goddamn day. Tell you what.
Come here, honey.
They all got something. Let's do it. So
I'm digging that.
Oh God!
Fuck.
Bret Michaels releases an entire album of fucking flower themed songs.
Everything but a rose.
Everything but a rose. All to the same. Just, every song starts out. You wait. There's a it's just the same fucking song.
Track 3. Same shit.
A different flower has a different something mixed into it.
I want it now. I want it to down to an orange blossom. Dude, I want everything.
If he did it though, people would buy that because it's hilarious.
Yes.
They would download that.
But he wouldn't do it because he's got too much pride.
Yeah, he's got too much pride.
He takes himself too serious.
Because imagine him doing that shit with a straight face, like in the old Poison video, and he's like dead serious. Yeah. That shit would be pretty viral. It'd be fucking funny.
It would be much better if he does that shit. Every song from that album at this festival.
That would be great.
From the start to the end, and then he walks off stage and goes, "Give me the check."
And the crowds, every time it starts, at first couple times the guitar starts, like, "Oh, it's going to be Every Rose Has Its Thorn," and they're happy, and they're like, well, "I don't know, what the fuck is he?"
By the end of it, they're just throwing cheap beer at him.
What is he talking? Did he just? I don't know. He just brought up marigolds. I don't know what's happening. Marigold. I don't know this. Is he? And every time it starts, there's less and less hope.
Right.
I don't think it's. Yeah, I see him. Fucking daisies, of course.
I know what he's going to do.
Eat it, Bret. Give him the finger.
At minimum, he should take the state flower, and every time he plays a song in that state, just do it about that flower. Just the state flower in your fucking song. Cactus fucking blossom. Here we go.
I would love that. I would love that, man. Oh,
on a 4 count.
Every bird of paradise has got a pointy beak. It's like,
just
Bret,
shit that doesn't even.
It doesn't even fit,
don't
Bret.
even work,
Bret. Come on. He's like, it's all about. That's all it is, man. I make a face, I make a serious face, and I do a hard strum, and that doesn't matter what the hell the song is. He doesn't care.
State Flower Bret. Let's go.
State Flower Bret. The State Flower Tour. The Bret Michaels Band State Flower Tour.
Fucking hit a magnolia. Let's go.
Sponsored by Miracle Grow. Fucking perfect. Sponsored by fucking Roundup. Oh my God.
Home Depot and Lowe's are chomping at the bit.
Huge. Like, oh man. Whew. Nothing's going to say Lowe's like this right here. So anyway, 1977, Bruce Orville Ramsey, who is not a member of Poison that we know of. I mean, he might have filled in for somebody at some point. We don't know. So he's married at this point to a woman about his age. This is Beatrice Ramsey. She goes by Barbara.
Yeah.
Everybody called, Beatrice. And in the 70s, too, the only B was B. Arthur, too, who she was Maud.
Right.
Which is fine. She's hilarious, very talented, but no woman was like, I want to be hot like Maud, you know? Hey, how you doing?
This chain smoking Maud.
Yeah, hey, how you doing? I'm going to be on the Golden Girls later, and everyone's going to know who I am. And it's just, it'd be Arthur. So Barbara, a little bit better. Barbara's a very 70s name.
Yeah.
Every woman was named Barbara in the 70s. So Bruce here works, it's a very 70s name too. Bruce and Barbara.
How do you?
If your name's, you just hear a couple, Bruce and Barbara, pick the decade. You go, that's 1970s probably, right?
60s, 70s, somewhere around there?
Porn mustache.
They've known each other since the 60s.
At least, yeah. Porn mustache on him, washes the car every Saturday out in the driveway. So he works for the Ford Motor Company plant in Woodhaven. So he's got like a good, steady job. And that's... you live in this area up in the 70s. If you still had a job at the plants, you're doing great.
Yeah.
That was basically, if you didn't get laid off, life was great. They still had made great money and still did really well in these plants. So, he's doing really, pretty decent for himself. At least, good blue collar living in a nice suburb that's especially back in the 70s, a little bit more open and suburban. They have 2 children together, which that's good as well. A little boy, a little girl. So, they're having a little suburban existence here. Nice little suburban existence. Thing is, though, about 1977, he starts kind of going off the rails a little bit.
He's not happy anymore?
Well, I don't know if he's not happy anymore, but he turns... Most people, you get like a midlife crisis because he's born in 1943. So at this point, he's not that much. He's only 32 years old, but he's got like kind of an early midlife crisis. I don't know if they came on earlier back then.
Maybe. Because
people didn't live as long.
Yeah.
So in the 70s even still.
Life expectancy.
Yeah, you got a job at the plant right out of high school, so it was a different life.
He's got 10 years in already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know what it was, but it seems like he's having like a midlife crisis or something because he's always just like a steady family guy, works at the Ford Motor plant, which just like everybody else, and 2 kids, wife, burbs, church going, goes to church on Sundays, but he starts getting a little weird in 1977, as a lot of people did. This is a time of like people were swinging and people were doing weird shit, and
people are living lives a little better than me.
Yeah,
having more fun doing it.
There you go. More fun. And he's got a weird mix of like that mixed with the fact that he is a product of a family who is like a really, really Southern fundamentalist religious family.
Okay.
Snake handling, fire and brimstone. Like,
he's not into it,
and like hill shit too. Not even like we're talking like hill revivals and shit like that in Kentucky where he's from.
Yeah,
this is different. They
take it too far.
It's just different. Yeah, we're talking it's
you can live it that way. That's fine.
It's fine.
It makes normal. I hate saying it like that. It makes most people that are not used to that. They come into your church on Sunday. Yeah. They're a bit uncomfortable. Well, shit's weird.
It's kind of the old everything in moderation. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to tell you anything's bad because some people. I'm not going to tell you religion's bad. Some people it helps them a lot.
Yeah,
it really does. Gives them comfort. Gives them whatever. Great. Good for you. Fuck. Great. I smoke weed. You have that. Don't judge me. I don't judge you. Right. We'll shake hands and agree to disagree. It's fine.
We both sleep fine at night.
That's what I mean. I don't care. Whatever's good for you, dude, go for it.
Do it.
You know what I mean? I don't care. As long as you're not hurting anybody, knock yourself out.
There's the qualifier.
If it's all for you and you're feeling good and it makes other people feel, go for it. Hey, who am I to judge? Who are we to judge? We're idiots.
Yeah.
We're a couple of idiot comedians. We don't know shit.
You don't want to know what I do that makes me feel good.
No, it's gross. Bad. I know about it, half of it. It's pretty gross. You don't want to know about it. So I'm telling you, it's I'm not saying it's everybody has their thing too, I think, and it's not bad. Yeah. We'll just put it that way. It's not bad. But at this moment in time, it seems like he's like a guitar string that's a little too tight.
Okay.
Between the suburban life that's supposed to be all great and the fundamentalist upbringing that's got this like this hardcore I don't know the word I'm even looking for here, but just a fundamentalism of religion, just a real purity of that he has to be, and that's a lot of pressure.
It is.
Too much religion is like too much anything.
Yeah.
People use Coke and do it fine. That's the thing. It's not a well-known thing because a lot of times it's very addictive and people can't control it. But I've known people who have used Coke here and there for years, never a lot, recreationally, and they do it fine. They have a good time with it.
Sure.
Most people, that doesn't work for them. So, I mean, that person figures out a way to have moderation. Yeah. Some people can have moderation in religion or moderation in...
Flip side of the coin, things that are good for you. You can have too much water.
You can have too much... Yeah, you'll die if you drink too much water. Yeah. That's a fact. And it's moderation in everything. It's good.
Yeah.
It's just good. So... This guy, though, goes from all one to just, I'm going to snap one day. Okay, so out of nowhere, he basically strays from the church in mid-1977, sort of strays from the church, stops going with his family, doesn't pay attention, starts drinking alcohol, starts smoking weed, which he never did before.
The rails, we haven't seen those in a minute.
Yeah, he's
way off.
Yeah, he's going from, working at the plant, voting for Nixon, just kind of, I'm silent majority, that kind of guy with my 2 kids in the suburbs to, weed smells good. What is that? Ooh, look at the ass on that one. Well, you know what? That dickle ain't looking so bad. Yeah, I'm gonna have me a party, and that's what he does. Yeah, he starts smoking weed, starts screwing around on his wife.
Oh, that's not good.
And I don't know what comes first, but I think it's that first.
The wife?
I think you fuck around on your wife, and then you're like, well, I'm doing that. Might as well do other shit.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is, because I don't know. I guess whatever draws you. If you're a guy that's drawn by alcohol, drugs, or women,
it depends though, because
different desires.
If you're just living your life in the day to day with a wife and kids, and you're going to church, you rarely find a girl to stray off that path.
True.
With, you know what I mean? So going the other way, being in bars all the time, smoking weed, a little easier to find a girl that'll fuck a married dude.
So it's
possibly that it's the booze, then the weed, then the girls.
That's a good point.
I can see it that way.
It could go either way. Or the girl could be like, he could like a girl, and she could be like, come over here. I like to smoke weed and drink booze. And he's like, sure, me too.
I'll try one of these.
Does that mean I'm getting laid? Yeah.
I'll try the one that I'm used to, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think, and men are, here, ladies who are listening, you can get an insight here. Men are motivated in our reptile brain.
Yeah.
We have our intellectual brain also where we can,
the one that pays the bills.
Yeah, the one where we can kind of sort all these thoughts out. But in our reptile brain, which, by the way, no amount of anything will fix just because it's nature.
Yeah.
That's why there's a population.
Yeah.
Because we're gross.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest. Yeah. If we weren't pushing it, that's what it is.
If we had to wait for
Not
the
that
time,
it's a great thing. I'm just saying.
But if we waited for the time that a woman brought it up first, this population would be much thinner.
It would be thinner. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I would say so too. We're usually. We're the ones trying to make the sale, for the most part, is what I'm getting at.
Women enjoy it just as much as men do. That's not a disagreement.
But we show up at the door with the encyclopedias.
Exactly.
She might love to read them, but we're outside going, it's a wonderful, beautiful volume from A to B, bound in leather. Yeah. Look, it's got everyone. You learn about flowers and Bret Michaels so you can understand his new album? Check it out. Here, check out the F section, full of flowers. That's us on the doorstep, and you're like, that's not bad. Let me in, and then you like it, so it's fine.
Women aren't buying cars based on the amount of dudes that are going to try to fuck them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we know that everybody can be the aggressor, but that's not what we're saying. We're just saying that
men are constantly on a path, no matter what they do. Every decision we make, if we're single, even if we're not, it's specifically tailored towards, is this going to help me get pussy?
Exactly what it is. Yeah, when you're single, you're just like, will women like this?
Right. Which one of these options that I have will women hate least?
And then as you get older,
that's really what it is.
And as you get older, though, usually you you adopt the Wu-Tang philosophy of life, which I just remember it was an interlude in one of the albums where they were talking about all this stuff, and one guy's talking about it was real, misogynist shit for the most part, but it's a rap album from 1997. What the fuck do you want? So they're talking, and the one guy goes, man, never mind that shit. Never mind the pussy. Give me the money and the weed. And I was like, I guess that's a philosophy.
It's not a bad mantra.
I remember that. You get distracted by that. I was like, yeah, guys get distracted by that.
Well, boy, do we.
Yeah. And if you get the money and the weed, maybe then, maybe.
And if dudes would just focus on the success trajectory of having something that's comfortable and a comfortable life where you're not living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. If you can focus on that first, I assure you, you're gonna be fine.
And then still be nice to them.
Right.
That's the other thing. See, some guys don't. They're like, some guys are like, I got a car, an apartment, a good job. What's up?
Where are they?
Pointing at us, sitting there though. What?
I'm sitting on the couch with my door open, just waiting for
my cock's out, ladies. What the hell? This is what you want, right? Like, no. Now you still have to attract them as well. It's a full package you have to do.
Got to show them which fork you know how to use.
Hey, my electric bill's paid. Who wants some?
You gonna suck this or not?
Yeah, come on. Like
There's air conditioning here because I paid for it.
Some guys really think that.
They do.
That's all they need to do. So, yeah.
Oh, please. Oh, my God.
So that's an insight for ladies and help for our guy friends out there. It's both.
I got a friend that's just, it's beyond, man. We
know people who are motivated.
He has some guidelines and some bars that are set way too fucking high for the face that he has.
Oh, yeah.
and the stability that he has. It's like, dude.
Guys are nuts.
Have some self-awareness. Yeah. Nobody owes you anything.
No, we're nuts.
We are.
We are out of our minds.
Yes.
I know awful-looking people who would see, a girl who's a movie star, and then she'll be like, she's fucking gross. Is she?
Tearing her down.
Never give you the time. She would have a security person physically form a barrier in front of your disgusting ass.
Mila Kunis is
what
ugly?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
So you're saying, man?
Yeah, really?
You don't like her face?
Okay.
Right.
Sure. Yeah,
what's wrong with you, man?
I've seen you're like that. You want to tell these people? I've seen who you've gone out with.
Right.
At what point was that? No.
You're telling me it was between her and Mila, and you were like, Mila's face is a bit off.
Yeah, that one girl had a tail. Right. What are you doing? But Mila, I wouldn't touch her with 10 feet. Yeah, okay, sure you wouldn't. Yeah, you would. You'd be thrilled, and you'd come before you got your fucking pants off because it'd be the best thing you've ever had. You idiot.
Her what you call tiny tits would make you lose your mind.
Lose your shit. So enjoy that. Okay, we're way off the subject.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. You know what? It's the Christmas spirit. Christmas season, holiday season, and on top of all of that, it's our episode 200, so I think we get to have fun and screw around a little bit. Why not? Because it's 200. This is for us, damn it, and for you, but for us too. So he's having an affair. He's doing all this type of shit.
Yeah.
So kind of spring of 1977, Bruce goes down to visit his mother in Kentucky.
Oh, boy.
Only good's going to come from this.
Yeah.
So
get back to your roots, though.
Get back to your roots, and maybe his mom will tell him, hey, smack some sense into him, a little bit.
I heard you smoke the devil's lettuce.
Smoking the devil's lettuce? You're hanging out with impure women.
Right.
Woman. You have an impure woman on the side.
Your beverage says proof on the side of it?
No.
Unbelievable.
And worst of all, you weren't at church on Sunday. I heard. No, the pastor called me down here, and he said, where's Bruce? I said, I don't know.
I raised you better than this, Bruce.
Raised you better than this, but then she beat him relentlessly, unmercifully with a frying pan. So
farm equipment.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing here. She, in the course of their conversations, when you haven't seen your mom in a while, you move away to another town, you come back, things, you have to talk about a wide variety of subjects.
Right.
How are the kids? That's going to happen for a while. They're great. How's Barbara? She's fine. The house is good. My job's okay.
Yeah.
If like the other people, not liking his coworkers, I'm sure, as we got that review. Outside of that, though, everything's great. Eventually, when you talk to your mom and you haven't talked to her for a while, the subject will get around to demons and demon-possessed people.
Holy shit.
Obviously, right?
Wow.
How many conversations have you had with your mother where that didn't come up at one point?
Sometimes I'm shocked where the conversation gets to, but we never get there.
We usually just start there to get it out because we know it's going to end up there.
Hey, Ma, Beelzebub, let's go.
So we get like a back and forth going about that, and then once that's through, then she's like, how's the kids? And I'm like, good. Usually, they're fine, We're
beating the shit out of Beelzebub.
Actually, one of them passed away about a month ago, and I didn't mean to tell you about it, but the demon-possessed people, really, that was what I needed to get out of them off my chest. Apparently, that's where they get along. That's the
honeypot.
That's what their big subject is. To the point where she gives him a pamphlet. Mm-hmm. I don't know where she got this pamphlet from. Think about who's printing a pamphlet like this in the 70s.
In Kentucky.
Yeah, this is either a insane, crazy religious fundamentalist group or the CIA or something. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
So that's the type of shit they would do
trying to stir something up.
Just trying to infiltrate groups and like fundamentalist religious groups
and
groups.
Also find out who will take this.
Yeah. Well, they infiltrated them the same as the Black Panthers, the same as the hippies, the same as that. They were doing all that shit to people back then. So, I'm reading some stuff and getting into some old conspiracies. We talked about it on Crime and Sports.
Yeah.
I like a conspiracy that really doesn't matter. That's the conspiracy I like.
Also, convincing helps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, even if it's not convincing,
really?
I'm not open to believe it.
Right.
I'm open to hear it for fun.
Okay.
That's all it is. But it's open to hear it for fun.
This is fan fiction to you.
Sometimes, but then you get into some shit where you're like, oh, like when you hear about like MK Ultra and you're like, oh no, that's real. Wow. Mm-hmm. Like if a person came up to you and told you that was happening, you'd be like, what are you fucking
What's wrong with you?
Shut up.
Yeah.
But then it's real. So there's a lot of crazy shit that happened.
Yeah.
And infiltration of groups was one of them. It was one of the things that was real. So who knows? But Defeated Enemies was the name of the pamphlet.
Okay.
Defeated Enemies, and it concerned demons and demon-possessed people. Yeah. They're the enemies, and this is how you defeat them through this pamphlet. So she was like, I'm sure you come across a lot of demons and demon-possessed people.
You're near Detroit.
So, the big city. Yeah. So here you go. Take this pamphlet in case one jumps out at you.
Okay.
So, he gets into an affair here, has an affair with a woman by the name, her last name is Cross. That's all they identify her as, is Cross the whole time. Now, that weekend, I guess he took her down there for the demon pamphlet tour down in Kentucky. So they're banging away down there. And while in the middle of coitus, while
mid-bang,
they're literally attached here.
There's thuds happening.
In the middle of this, he suffers a psychotic episode during sex.
Oh, my God.
Dude, we've done a lot of episodes with a lot of 200, as a matter of fact, with a lot of pretty out there people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Pocket Robin. There's been a few that are just like, wow, I've never heard of a psychotic episode during sex.
That's usually like when you're at the most clear. Most focused.
That's what I was going to say.
Goal-oriented. There's a thing that's happening.
There's only one thing happening.
Right.
It's like at the end of the night, I play this game. It's like a word game on my phone to try to clear my brain of, murder that I was just working on all night before I go to bed. So I spend 20 minutes like doing that, and I focus on it so I don't think about other stuff. Sex is so much better than that for that.
Oh, God.
It's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You focus, and it's so much better.
Nothing matters. Literally, the house could catch on fire. I'm going to finish before I put this out.
That's what I mean. People will be having heart attacks and make sure.
Right.
Let me just finish before I call it in.
I mean, you're
the old
naked.
Robert Schimmel joke where he's like, can I finish before I die? Can I fucking come before I call 911? Which is going to come first. But men will do that. Mm-hmm. Be like, I'm probably having a heart attack, but I'm going to finish first and then figure it out. So to have a psychotic episode, not a physically, is
all behind the ears,
blowing.
Between the ears.
That's mind blowing. Yeah. I don't know if he was like losing his fucking heart on and had to fake a psychotic episode to get out of it.
That could do it.
He's not like, was that a car horn? A psychotic episode instead. He's like, is the phone ringing?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, someone's possessed and I have a pamphlet. She's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
How much whiskey was he drinking, though? Because it could be a thing.
Whiskey, weed, and he's not used to drinking or smoking weed. So whiskey.
And not used to fucking somebody that's not his wife.
I don't know. Yeah, I never heard anybody
lose an erection because it's not their wife.
I was going to say, I've never heard anybody, A, weed only helps. Yeah. And B, that's
that's
to use the common parlance, that is some strange, Jimmy, and he's usually that's going to be
that is visual Viagra, my friend.
Yeah, he was hard in the car when he pulled up, like he was like, I
cannot wait.
That's a different there's a horse of a different feather, as they call it, as it's said.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what's happening. They're having in the middle of banging, mid bang, and he suffers a psychotic episode, saying that he jumped off of her and said, "You're a devil." Started saying that she's a devil and a demon.
Oh my!
While he was banging her, which she's being an angel at that moment in time.
An actual angel.
You should see a halo. Here. How goodly of her.
Her halo is about 3 feet below her head, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Just stay in there.
You're a dildo.
Yeah.
With 2 kids and your crazy mother walking around showing her a religious pamphlet about demons, and you're going to say she's the devil and get off of her? No.
She should have turned around and just said, "You're the one that's married, you idiot."
Yeah, you're married, dummy. So who's the devil now? And then he would have cried. So he said that she's a devil, and he ran out of the room.
Okay.
He literally left her there.
Yeah.
Just pulled out and called her the devil and left.
Okay.
What an odd experience for a woman.
Right.
Ladies, have you ever had that one happen to you? You always hear women give like these crazy sexual stories about this and that. Has a guy ever jumped off of you mid-sex, not coming or anything, and said, "You're a demon," and then ran out of the room? Wow.
There's going to be 2 or 3 that say yes.
If that,
just because men are that bad.
Normally I say don't tweet at us. Yeah. I want to know if that's happened. Yeah. If this specific thing has happened to you, please let us know, because that is crazy.
And then DM us, because I want to hear the story.
Yeah, if you're comfortable, obviously. We're not trying to get weird sexual stories. We want to hear how crazy he is, not about your sexual stuff.
I don't know what happened to you.
That's crazy. Yeah. So he runs out of the room. He apparently, she had to go find him.
Oh, boy.
She had to, get dressed and go wander outside and find him.
Yeah.
So she eventually tracks him down outside.
Oh, my God.
I hope he put his dick away first.
Yeah, put some pants on.
Ran out. He's still rock hard. Just reading a pamphlet. Demons make me fucking horny.
How do I get rid of this?
Demons make me horny.
Yeah.
God. So when she found him, he was open to talking, but he insisted that they go back to the room and pray first before they talk. So no more fucking. Let's take this pamphlet. We'll go back to the room. We'll pray for a while. And she's like, "Okay, sure.
How is this not a turn off too?
How can I get away from this lunatic? Okay, great.
500 miles from home.
Great. Yeah. This is going to be wonderful." So he then, oh my goodness, Jesus, this is when people get to this part where they see signs from God and things that have no sign from God, it's when I'm start to really
kind
of
swinging for the fences.
Yeah, he said the next day the choke on his truck was clogged.
Okay, on the carburetor.
The carburetor, the choke was clogged, and he took it just clogged. You know, it happens. An old truck. We had like an old truck.
Spray some starting fluid in there, sir.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah. So he instead, though, said that it was a sign from God that he should stay with his wife.
Oh, with your wife.
It's a very subtle sign.
Yeah.
If you're God and you can make anything, you can make your carburetor clog up. I mean, that's a pretty... He's not powers. That's saying not only does God have control over all the beings that he's created, quote unquote, or whatever the fuck, but on top of that, he's got like machine power. He's changing channels. Like that's a.
He's mechanically inclined too for a carburetor that sure in the fuck didn't exist when he was alive.
He knows how it works. He knows how to clog it up.
He's pretty good at this.
So not a bad deal.
Yeah.
So to take that and go, that's a personal message from God.
He had to have stared at that carburetor and gone, what does this mean?
That's what I mean. Looking for a sign in it and a sign from God and thinking that's a way that God's communicating with him. Like needed him to pull over and, think about it for a minute.
Well, now this means I'm stuck and I have to stay.
The
Where
fuel,
would I stay? Stay with my wife.
The fuel needs to flow. It flows like love in a marriage. And I'm being clogged, and I'm just being all just held up tight right now, and my love isn't being allowed to flow.
Fuel inside the injectors creates a fire, like passion, like love.
Yeah, the fuel of marriage is love. See,
and that pushes the truck down the road.
It's clogged.
Yeah.
Now, if the truck ain't getting no love, it's gonna stall, and that goes for pussy as well. That's how he would say it, because that's what
that means this bitch has got to get out of my truck.
That's what he would call women at that. Yeah, he's not a good guy, probably. So, anyway, he's the clogged choke is a sign from God, and then he said that. Oh my God, he got back in the truck to figure out what to do, and turn the radio on, and every song that came on, like pop songs too, not the gospel channel, pop music. All of the lyrics were also messages from God,
of course,
to tell him things. So he's like,
every song on the radio is about love.
Yeah, but it was God.
Yeah.
God put that song out, 4 years ago. So 4 years from then, he would hear it at that moment when it's. God plays chess. It's not checkers, Jimmy. This is chess. It's a long game.
God damn.
Yeah.
He's playing 18 moves ahead.
He writes Aqualung.
Yeah.
So then when you need it 3 years later, you're going to hear it and go, yes, that means I should stay with my wife.
God damn it.
What the?
Oh, boy.
I don't even know. I'm losing it with this guy. So he gets back home and he says he's going to stay with his wife.
Yep.
It's clear. He's done. He's doing it. So he gets home. He stays home one night, sleeps when he gets back from Kentucky. He works a full day at the Ford plant like he normally does. Seems to be back to his. I don't know what it was. Seems to have like a 3-day lost his goddamn mind. Came home. Sans, side chick, and he's ready to focus again. I feel like he just needed a quick
cleanse.
He's like one of these old timey guys who need to like go blow off steam in like a whorehouse, like they used quote unquote for a weekend.
Right,
guys used to just do that back in the day.
Well, you got to throw it away to know what's good. You know what I mean?
That's the thing.
You got to just sacrifice the whole thing and let it go to know what you had.
My grandmother, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Italian grandma said that is how my grandfather got the approval from her family to marry her and everything. And was my Uncle Tino took my grandfather out to hang out, him and his brothers and, a bunch of guineas running around the Bronx in 1949 or some shit. So my grandmother's telling me this story about 3 years ago. And she goes, so, takes him out with, this one and that one, and they take him to get to know, so So everybody, they're going to be, he's proposed. He asked if he could propose, so they're going to make sure he's okay. I said, oh, that's nice. It's a real community thing, the Italian thing. He goes, so they go out and, they do, well, what the guys do. They go to the bars, they drink, they go play some cards at the place, they go to the whorehouse.
Hold on.
Excuse me, Grandma. Back that up a little.
Yeah.
Mother whorehouse. Yeah. Like, what are you, stupid? She tells me, like, you don't know what a whorehouse is. Mother whorehouse with the girl. I say, I know what it is, Grandma. Thank you.
Heard tell of those.
Yeah, mother whorehouse. So it's like, I figured you'd say that more gently, but I guess not. 90-year-old woman, mother whorehouse. So I just thought it was funny. So then she says, so my grandfather, my brother comes and he says to me, that's a good man you have there. You should marry him.
Yeah.
We take her. He didn't even go with any of the whores.
Oh, that's so nice.
None of the whores. He said, I can't. I love my Gloria, That's
also, all of you will hate me.
So they all went in and they did what they, and they came out. He was still there. He never did the thing. So then, I could marry him. I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, great.
That's a beautiful Italian love story, Grandma. That is lovely.
He did not fuck the horse, so it's fine.
And so he now have the horse, and so they say, you should marry. I say, yeah, I should.
Wow.
Okay. Have you ever heard your grandparents say how they met and how they got together? Was it like that?
Not at all.
Probably not.
This was it was very lazy. She was the only one in high school that liked me.
At that, or we met at a dance, or we did this. He took her to the whorehouse, and he passed the skank test or whatever he was calling it. And that's not our words. That's a 93-year-old Italian woman saying that's the only reason why I'm saying it. So obviously, I'd go with brothel. It's more respectful to everyone.
I sure do. Sure am partial to the whorehouse.
Well, because it's old westy.
Yeah, but it fucking serves it really tells you what goes down there.
Rightfully, it's not the favorite word of the ladies.
It's not necessarily a house,
unless they were like old.
It's not very nice.
No, Old West. That's what they were proud of. That was we've talked about in Deadwood. And that was because in the Old West that was considered an honorable profession.
Shit, yeah.
It was accountant, barman, whore. These were all solid, and they were like, that's what I am, God damn it. They were proud of it.
She went to the sheriff
shame me,
and
goddamn
got
it.
the license for it.
Yeah. Don't shame me. I provide a goddamn service, and I know what I'm doing. Yeah, those ladies back then, but then obviously it's gotten a little bit more of a stigma, which, I don't know. We'll do it to each their own.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do.
Good for you.
So, anyway, this guy, Ramsey here, he oh my God. So he's finding messages from God in popular song lyrics. He's, and minor mechanical problems on an old pickup truck, which seems pretty common.
Yeah.
So full day of work and everything like that. He calls his mother in Kentucky after this full day of work, and he is like manic.
Really?
Like he is exuberant, crazy, talking about his return to God.
Yeah.
And he's triumphant, returning to God, and he's so excited. Like, he's acting like he's going to go somewhere and, play racquetball with God. And he's just jacked about it because they're friends again. But, he's just so psyched about his return to God. And his mother's like, great. Sure.
Yeah.
Good for you. I'm glad the pamphlet helped.
Yeah.
I'm glad that was weird enough for you. So now, the day this happens here, 1977, he's home. He comes home after a full day's work. He's excited to talk to his mom. Gets home, and his kids are home. And his wife is home, Barbara. She's there as well. And they have an argument. That, as, people do. Married couples have arguments. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping, you got a car payment due, there's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Yep. Here, now, wow. And the kids are like, 8 and 12. So they're small. Yeah. They're little kids. They're there too, boy and girl. So at this point, they're arguing, and one of the Ramsey children later will say that Barbara came into the child's room crying, which, I mean, I get that you're trying to get away from the husband, but when you take that to the kid, you're ruining that kid.
You're really involving them in this.
It's boy, that's painful when you're a kid and you're getting involved in parents' stuff,
and you're not necessarily getting involved. You're being brought into it on purpose.
Well, you're being brought in, and the people they're telling you their side and shit. You ever have that going on? You're like, whoa, that's not good at all. No, it's not good at all. So, but I think at this point, this guy's like losing his mind with this religious fervor. And I almost think Barbara's trying to get away from him and would like, let me just hang out with the kids here and maybe he'll leave me alone type of thing.
Yeah.
Almost using them as a shield. Or at the other hand, maybe she is using herself as a shield so he'll stay away from the kids. I don't know her motivation here, but either one of those seems just as likely.
Sure.
50-50 depending on, what her state of mind is. So they argue. I guess he enters the room, the child's room where Barbara had walked into. Bruce comes in. And he just yells at her. He says, walk. That's what he says, which is
that's
real angry
Not singing a Pantera song, just insultingly yelling at her what to do.
What to do, nothing. Doesn't even bring up a flower or a rhyme about it or anything. This is not romantic.
You've said that to your kids before, just look them dead in the eye, pointed, walk.
Because I'm in charge of them.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't do that to your wife.
I have dominion over you.
Right. Based on size alone.
Yeah. You came from my dick and I pay for everything. Right. Walk. That's it. Like, that's a different thing. Another human being who you didn't create, you can't yell at like that. And then past a certain age, you shouldn't talk to your kids like that either. Only if they're being dicks. So Barbara leaves the room, and she kind of walks out of the room, acting like she's cooperating, and then she makes a beeline for the bathroom, runs in the bathroom, locks the door. Okay.
This whole game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever's going on, if he's acting all crazy, maybe that's a good thing.
This is ugly.
Try to diffuse it. Okay. So he knocks on the door. Hey, come out.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know I'm out here. I just ordered you from another room. Knocking. She won't ask. She says, just leave me alone. Just why don't you just give me a minute? Yeah, let's just let this whole thing blow over and cool off. I feel like he gets these bursts of fervor, and you have to let him calm, and then he kind of chills, like the way he did with that cross lady.
Right.
You're a demon, and ran away. And she's like, hey, let's calm down. And he wants to pray, and then everything's fine again. And I think that's what she's thinking. So this probably isn't a brand new thing. This might happen once in a while.
This is familiar for her.
She knows. Yeah, she knows what to do here. Except this time, Bruce decides he's not taking it anymore, and he starts trying to break down the bathroom door, and eventually succeeds in busting the door down.
Oh my God!
So he breaks the door down, and so he comes into the bathroom. And his kids are watching this, by the way. His kids have followed behind to see what's going on because this is frightening for them, and it's a small place. So, wow. Basically, he starts screaming that she's a demon, and she's possessed.
Oh, boy.
You're possessed. You're a demon. All of this type of shit, right? Yelling at her and telling the kids that she's a demon. Apparently, he starts choking her and hitting her in the head every once in a while with his hands at this point, hitting her in the head and choking her and screaming, go away, demon, go die, demon, get out of there, demon, go, demon, screaming about demons while he's doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and he's hitting her and all this type of shit. And it's fucking crazy.
Kids are screaming.
Yeah. He chokes her to the ground, but doesn't kill her. She's still conscious and everything like that. So he pulls a knife out. He pulls a pretty good-sized kitchen knife out.
Yeah.
And he stabs her 32 times.
Oh, no.
In front of his children.
Oh, my.
32 times in the face, chest, and neck.
Oh, they are fucked up.
Just hacking away the whole time, screaming, die, demon, die.
Oh, my God.
And things of that. Die, demon, die.
Yeah.
Kill the demon. I'm killing the die. Demon, get out of there. Demon.
Everything demon.
Demon be gone. I mean, screaming about everything probably from the pamphlet.
Yeah.
I don't know if the pamphlet said to stab somebody 32 times, but I'm sure it said to, you got
to
verbally, cast out the demon. And
you got to vent the body to get the demons out.
Yeah. Stabs her 32 times.
That's a lot.
All over the place. Yeah. And this is just everywhere. Her whole front of her body, basically. Overkill. Complete. I mean, it didn't take that much to kill her. So at the time of this, he then, he turns to his kids.
Oh, no.
And he tells them that, well, mommy's possessed by a demon. And what happened is I had to cut the demon out of her.
Yeah.
Now that the demon's out of her, we need to pray over her, all three of us. If we all get down and pray on top of her body.
Come to the body?
And pray over her. She'll come back to life.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Because now the demon's gone.
Oh, boy.
Now there's no more demon.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm 12, Dad, and I have a health class.
Come on, kid.
That ain't going to work.
He then turned to his kid, his 9-year-old son, hugged him, said, come on, buddy, let's bring mommy back to life.
Okay.
The demon's gone.
Yeah.
Like, this is great. Yeah. Now the demon's gone. Like, he was like, we did it, kids. Now let's bring her back.
Yep.
Literally hugging him like they just did something special. Like, that's our tree this year. Yeah. We're going to cut it down. I don't know brings the kids over. Imagine the amount of blood that's in this room.
And the mom looks terrible.
Oh, Yeah.
This is clearly the worst they've ever seen their
32
mom.
stab wounds.
And he's going to set them down next to her.
And 32 stab wounds, there's blood is just, I mean.
Everywhere.
Puddles, pools.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
all over the walls.
It's all over everything. He's going to bring the kids in there. Kneel down in your mother's blood, kid, and let's pray over her. That way she'll come back to life. Mm-hmm. All right? So he does it. Obviously, she doesn't come back to life because he stabbed her 32 fucking times. So at that point, he starts to realize that she's not coming back. Mm-hmm. He said he expected her to come back to life.
Pop right up.
He's like, I thought she's just going to pop right up. We prayed over, and I did my part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been praying, and nothing happened.
Oh, boy.
So he starts to realize it. So now he gets, apoplectic about the whole thing.
Boy.
Now he's like, oh, no, this is terrible. So he and his... God damn it. His 9-year-old son, he makes him help. Bring Barbara's body into the bed. They take her body and they place it in Bruce and Barbara's bed. Mm-hmm. And then he crawls up next to her and goes to sleep.
Oh.
Goes to sleep.
What?
How do you sleep? He curled up next to the woman he stabbed the shit out of while his kids are wandering around awake, and he's like, night, kids, it's nap time.
Daddy needs a nap. Wow.
What?
How do you do that?
We've had dismounts where we're like, dude,
like
a couple weeks ago, the guy, the bathroom of his business, and it's like, hey, come on, you're going to be the first suspect there, buddy. Like he was going for it's so obvious that it can't be me.
Couldn't be me.
Yeah. Whereas this is like,
well, shit.
I don't understand why.
You've got too many witnesses. You've got not too many, too many.
Too many.
Yeah. And then also it's your fucking wife and you've moved it on. There's so much evidence.
Yeah. Not to mention
you're
your
not
kids.
Getting away with this.
No. And your kids, you're not thinking about, my kids probably are going to need somebody to talk to them.
Yeah.
I should probably talk to them about this. He was like taking a nap now. Imagine how fucking what those kids are thinking.
God.
Well, I mean, because they don't know. If you're 9, you don't know what the hell's going on. And if your dad says, your dad, who's your dad, and you think knows things, if he says, mommy's coming back to life, you probably I guess mommy's coming back to life, right? I don't know. I didn't think that's how it worked, but I don't know. I haven't seen that many movies.
How the fuck do I know? I'm 9.
I'm 9. I don't know shit. I still think a giant bunny brings me candy.
Right.
Which it does, children. So there you go. Anyway, he places her in the bed, crawls next to her, falls asleep.
Yeah.
Falls asleep for a while.
How long?
Too. Well, we're not sure the exact amount of time, but we know how he woke up. Oh. He's awakened to state troopers knocking on his door.
Okay.
That's a problem. State police officers banging on his door and identifying on Michigan State Police.
Yeah.
Which is, that'll wake you up. Oh, hey, I'm up now. Whoa, what's up with that? Apparently, the kids, scared shitless and probably just traumatized as all hell, had wandered out of the house and went over to a neighbor's house just to, I don't even know. They didn't even know what they were doing. They just ended up like in a neighbor's yard. And a neighbor came out and said, hey guys, you all right? Because they're small.
Well, and then also
they have blood all over them.
And there's also nobody to tell them not to.
That's the other thing. Dad's sleeping next to mom's corpse.
Yeah.
And, also most of the time, 9-year-old boys aren't covered in blood.
Yeah.
Usually. Not spatter anyway.
Right.
Maybe a cut on their knee or their elbow, but it's not spatter on the face and, kneeling in a pool of it.
I have to think there's a part of a child's mind that saw that and knows that they don't want to be in that house either. So they're going to get the fuck out, You
just saw Dad commit atrocious violence. You have to think, whoa, what if Dad... And it's in a way, too, where that wasn't how Dad normally acts.
Yeah.
What if he acts like that with me? I mean, that's just survival. Even at 9, some people have that.
And if I'm 9 and I just believe what my dad says, now there's a demon loose in the house. I got to get the fuck out of here.
That's the other thing. What if it did get out? It's going to be in me next.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, too, this guy, I know it's, he's gone to this extreme here, but his kids are around him all the time. They know if he's a little...
Right.
If he's a little...
They can gauge the seriousness of this situation.
You know if your dad's nuts. You know if your parents are nuts. And you know if you need to get away from situations. And you know that as a kid. I mean, we have a little antenna for abuse like that, where every kid has it. Where you're like, hey, this is uncomfortable for me. So I don't know if the kids knew, like, okay, Dad's finally lost it or what. But they went next door. State police officers knocking on the door, identifying themselves. He says at this point, or it's cleared at this point that he looks over. His wife is dead.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, she's been dead for a couple hours now. He's been sleeping next to her.
She's cold and she's blue.
She ain't coming back, one of those deals. So he's like, shit, that didn't work. I thought that was supposed to work. Like the fucking pamphlet said, damn it.
That demon's deep.
Well, only one thing I can do now.
Oh, boy.
Well, obviously, you go open the door and turn yourself in a minute. Or you can grab the same knife and plunge it into your chest repeatedly.
Wow.
Which is what he chooses to do.
That's commitment.
He takes a same knife he murdered his wife with and just repeatedly plunges it into his chest. Gets about 4 pretty good stab wounds into his chest before he kind of falls over and passes out.
Yeah.
And that's how the state police find him.
Wow.
Puddle of blood, knife in his hand, dead wife on the bed. Quite the scene to walk into.
Unbelievable.
And I don't know if anybody's ever heard this, but it's very hard to put a knife through your chest plate.
Yeah.
It's easier for someone else to do it, but for you to get the force to put a knife
to you
through it's meant to protect your heart. That's why your sternum and your chest, all that's there. So it doesn't want things to go through it. It's pretty hard to get through. You really got to have some force to get through that cartilage.
Almost got to run it a wall.
Yeah, if you're going to do it yourself. Yeah. But he got pretty good stab wounds on himself. It's pretty interesting. So he does that, stabs himself in the chest, and then got back into bed. Okay. And so he could pass out in bed, because he will later say if he died, he figured that if he was next to his wife, then they would go together.
Okay.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
You got to physically huddle up, and then she would meet her spirit like in the attic probably, or I don't know, up on the roof maybe.
On her way.
Yeah, she's up fixing the TV antenna. She's going to pop up.
It's like a Kobe to Shaq alley-oop.
It's what it is. Yeah. She's waiting. She's like, you going to oop, I'm getting too close to the rim, bro. You got to throw it up. You're at the 3-point line.
Got to get it up here, Kobe.
Throw it, man. I'm ready. So, yeah, he says that not returning to life. Shit. What am I going to do here? That's where the police find him, in the position of in the bed.
Yeah, bleeding out
there. He's taken to the hospital, and at the hospital, his family and friends came, and he made statements to the effect that he screwed up his life, screwed up everything, and, quote, that his wife wasn't supposed to die.
Oh, boy.
She wasn't supposed to die.
Yeah.
I read that pamphlet from front to back.
I skipped a step.
Yeah. Imagine if the internet was around. You could have got that guy to do anything.
Yeah.
This is a fucking pamphlet.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be shittily printed.
Oh, boy.
You need money to print a decent pamphlet, or someone knows that you have no backing.
He'd fall for everything.
Oh, anybody can put together a slick-looking website that you can fool people, or slick-looking anything, social media presence, anything like that.
How many times would he pay his IRS bill that didn't need to be paid?
He'd pay that. All the Nigerian princes would be sitting pretty.
Yeah.
He would be doing terribly.
He'd have so many extended warranties.
I was going to say, all the extended, and Chris Wallace would know him by, I'm sorry, Chris Wallace. Chris fucking...
Oh, Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen. Yeah. Chris Wallace. Chris Hansen would know him by a first name base. He would just have been trolled into
Chris Wallace would do a show interviewing him about how many times he's seen Chris Hansen.
That's what I mean. And he didn't even know what he was doing. He just fooled into meeting what he thought was kids in need or something.
Fuck kids. I'm not here for that.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck kids.
That's awful.
Wow. I'm here for the extended warranty. I'm here to get the paperwork for my dishwasher extension. What's up with that? That's what I'm here for.
My windshield has chips in it.
That's chips,
They say they'll replace it for free and give me $100.
Here I am.
That's just a kid.
What up with that? So, wow, he's taken to the hospital, like I said. Hospital psychiatrists, not surprisingly, diagnose him as acutely psychotic upon admission.
Yeah.
Screaming, my wife wasn't supposed to die, the demons were supposed to come out.
Yeah.
I tried to stab myself in the chest. Just to err on the side of safety, let's hang on to him for a couple days and do a little once-over before we decide his fucking mental acuity here. So he's arrested at that point, obviously, and while he's going to the hospital, you could be in the hospital, you're still under arrest.
Oh yeah, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, the psychiatrist evaluates him 2 days later, diagnoses him as acute psychosis, having that, and also acute paranoid schizophrenia as well. Losing his shit, in other words.
Right.
pretty much. The report also indicated that his mental status was, quote, religious paranoid ideation and a severe impairment of reality orientation and his actions following his paranoid delusions. That's not a sentence you want a psychiatrist to say about you.
No.
Probably any of that, really.
Yeah.
You could take any of that.
That's also, I mean, a good indicator of how, if you're not capable of understanding something, it's religion's very much like drugs. Too much of it too soon or too fast or too consistently, it can really fuck you up.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
And that's what happened.
I agree.
It's like he ate a sheet of acid.
Sex, drugs, and religion can hit a young brain wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying don't take your kids to church. Right. I'm not saying that at all. It's not
slow.
I'm just saying that some kids, some people's brains aren't ready for that yet sometimes, and that's all. So sometimes, who knows?
He had a sheet of Jesus.
He had a little too much. Yeah. A little too much for him, and that's what happens. It's moderation is great. So they said the evaluation concerning the influence of his religious beliefs and delusions is consistent with further testimony that comes up here, establishing that here's some facts that they've established once they get him in here. About 10 weeks before the stabbing incident is when his mother gave him the religious pamphlet, which she described as containing case histories of casting out demons. So it was like a timeline of like,
oh my,
this is how we cast out that demon.
Yeah.
And I bet stabbing was involved some way.
In 1872.
You have to open a hole so the demons can leak on out. Otherwise, they're trapped in there. Can't get out the mouth or the butthole.
Right.
Demons don't fly out the butthole. Jesus, like you don't even read.
They're too big.
They're too big to get out your butthole, stupid.
What are they going to do about the shoulders?
Jesus, some people are just ignorant, uneducated people. Come on now.
6 inches in the chest.
You need a gaping wound.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. Your butthole going to be too small. Come on, think before you say things.
Shoulders and wings don't fit.
Oh, man, the big wings. Big with spikes coming off them. They're going to tear your butthole out. You never get out of there. So also, approximately 10 weeks before the stabbing incident, while Ramsey here, they say, while engaging with sexual intercourse with a woman other than his wife, became convinced that the woman was a devil or a demon, became frightened, quit the act of intercourse, and believing the event to be a sign from God to stop cheating on his wife, prayed together with the woman. And then, the day before the murder was the clogged choke incident, and then getting in his car and hearing, every Rose needs a wife to stay with, and she's a demon, so be careful about that. If you stab her, they'll come out.
And then on loop, just every song named after a girl.
That's all it is, yeah.
Amanda, Barbara Sue,
Peggy Sue, Barbara Ann. What was that Family Guy they had that once? They had Stewie name off.
Stewie goes, what is it, like a
this one,
a song named after a girl?
Yeah.
Stewie, like 100.
And he names
Name 5.
Name 20 more. Name 50 more. Amanda, Sarah, this one, that one. Billie Jean, fucking.
he does a name 5, then he hits him and he goes, name 10 more.
Ding, ding, ding,
name 20 more.
Shit. Mandy, Amanda, this one. It's every girl's name has a song.
And credit Seth, he commits to a joke and he finds every song ever and rattles them off.
I don't mind
Good for you, Seth.
I don't mind the beat the joke into the ground thing. It's like, why not? Where else are you going for the next 30 seconds?
Right.
Oh, and again, they're going to do it? Yes, it's another 30 seconds and you're watching it anyway. So relax. Let yourself like it. It's fine.
And then Stewie just goes, oh, I guess you're right.
I guess you're right.
So good.
So he's charged, not surprisingly, charged with first-degree murder. And before the trial, though, he files his notice of intention to assert a defense of insanity.
Oh.
Which is not surprising. And before the trial, the Ramsey trial, moved that the statute, quote, providing a defendant who asserts a defense of insanity may be found guilty but mentally ill, he says, should be declared unconstitutional. So they're filing a thing you can be found guilty, not guilty by reason of insanity, guilty but mentally ill. Those are the options. So they're trying to establish beforehand that one of the options that the legislation has laid out, that's the state law, is not constitutional.
Okay. You're saying if I'm found that, then I'm clearly innocent because that's unconstitutional.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're laying a groundwork for basically that's the one they're going for, and they're laying the groundwork to be able to appeal that as not a thing, and that's how that works. So kind of legalese bullshit.
Sure.
So yeah. One other thing that happens, he says that they ask that the jury not be instructed on that verdict. They ask that not be included.
Oh.
And the judge says no. So then Ramsey files a waiver of his right to a jury trial, so it's just a bench trial in front of the judge.
Just the judge.
Just the judge, which I don't think that's smart.
That's dangerous.
If you're going for this type of thing, if you're going to say, like, I'm crazy and demons and all that, you have a better chance of convincing regular people.
You have a better chance of having 12 people that are like you than one judge that is absolutely not going to be like you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Those 12 people also don't see a million murder cases and things like that. So to them, this is all some big exciting thing, whereas the judge is like, you're just a killer idiot, just like the last killer idiot I had last week. Your demons are the same as he needed crack money. Same shit. Get the fuck out of my court. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's wise. Judges are a lot more cynical and jaded than a regular person going in a jury pool, especially in a murder trial. I feel like people feel forced into juries if it's like you're going for like some kind of theft or something. Nobody wants to sit there for that. You don't want to judge people for shit like that.
Right.
But if it's murder, people are like, well, this is important. I need to do my civic duty.
Yeah.
Put this person.
And a judge will sit and watch and listen to all the evidence, and he or she has an opinion of the law, and based on fucking hundreds of years of law,
they're scoring it as they go,
and he can hammer it out of his mouth right then. Whereas these 12 are going to go sit in a room for 3-4
literally talk
days.
About it.
Yeah, literally discuss what our statement's going to be.
Yeah, no, a judge knows exactly while he's here and stuff. Well, that's bullshit. Not believing that. Okay, that's bullshit. It's 2-1. Okay, 10-2. So now his lawyer, Ramsey's lawyer, if he's charged with first-degree murder, his lawyer's name is Locke is his last name. What the hell is his first name? It's here somewhere. I'll find it. But Locke is his last name. Lauck. And he figured that a jury would be disturbed enough by the details of the killing to find Ramsey guilty but mentally ill rather than not guilty by reason of insanity. Mm-hmm. He said, basically, the jury's going to hear about him stabbing his wife 32 times in front of his kids, then making his kids kneel down in the blood, and they're not going to give a fuck about how crazy he is. They're going to want to put the word guilty on him somewhere. Yeah. And that's the easy one, too. That's like... that's the, to say guilty but mentally ill takes everything off the jury. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't think he's right in the head, but we also think he's guilty. So it's everybody gets what they want, basically, in that. It's an easy one. Yeah. That is the ultimate, like, in this case, that's the ultimate, like, act of omission for a jury. It's like, well, I'm going to back off and just...
I could slam dunk this
little of both
and have nothing.
You could make a decision. Is he full of shit or is he crazy? Which one? Pick which one he is, because obviously it's one of the two. But they have this weird one there. He said, if found guilty but mentally ill, Ramsey would be sentenced to prison, where he would be entitled to receive psychiatric treatment. If found not guilty by reason of insanity, he would be sent to a state center for forensic psychiatry.
There you go.
And then at the end of 60 days, they evaluate him, and if he's not mentally ill, he'd be released. That's the difference. If you're not guilty by reason of insanity, they lock you up till you're not dangerous anymore, which could be 10 years, 2 months. Yeah. There's an evaluation process.
Somewhere in between there.
Doesn't know, Whereas guilty but mentally ill means you go to prison and you can go see a shrink once a month. Mm-hmm. That's what that means. So it's basically nothing.
Right.
It just makes the jury feel better about giving a guilty verdict.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's a way to cut down on not guilty by insanity.
You're just awarding a prisoner a head doctor.
That's all it is. And they don't even get that, as we'll talk about. It's really not, it doesn't really happen that much. So, he repeatedly attacked the guilty but mentally ill verdict as unconstitutional, and that's become his tactic. And apparently doctors admitted that those imprisoned under the verdict don't receive adequate psychiatric treatment. Okay. They say they just put that there as a red flag to the prison.
Oh.
That's basically how they flag somebody, so the prison knows, keep an eye on that crazy fuck.
Right.
That's the way they look at it. Not that they're crazy, but... Yeah. Keep an eye on them. That's a person we can just give some pills and throw in a corner and not worry about and shit like that. So, which, again, not really treating anything at that point. So according to defense testimony, Ramsey exhibited an unusual elation here this day on February 3rd, 1977, prior to the time he killed his wife. During that day, he consumed whiskey, beer, and weed.
Okay.
That's the other thing. So he had this fervent religiosity, and then it wasn't there, and he's banging women, and then he shouldn't be doing it, so he's praying about it, but then he sees signs from God, but then he also wants to smoke weed and drink whiskey, which he's not supposed to do in his moral system either.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's doing here. So anyway, in the late afternoon, he called his mother in Kentucky, told her he had returned to God and felt wonderful. Mm-hmm. He felt like he just had him a beautiful shot of speed up his butthole,
right.
Feeling good. He Ramsey's mother was a Southern Baptist and a real, a hill person, Southern Baptist. She originally had, I guess, years earlier that year, had given him 2 books on witchcraft and the occult.
Oh my God!
And he had read them, and then they were talking about it on his visit, and that's when she was like, "Now you need this pamphlet too,
Mom.
Now that you know it exists, this is how you get rid of it."
Right.
So why?
Too
much.
That's deep.
So, the Ramsey children here both indicated their father's conversations were incomprehensible that night. Mm-hmm. He would say shit they didn't understand, things that were non sequiturs, things that didn't have anything to do with what they were talking about. The kids were very confused. They were like, "What's wrong with Dad?"
Yeah.
But if he's drunk and stoned and he hasn't been smoking weed and drinking whiskey for that long,
right.
He's not going to make a lot of sense.
It's the guy that can't really handle it yet.
Yeah. If you don't have a big whiskey tolerance and you start drinking whiskey, that's where you start with your booze.
That's wild.
You're not going to be able to do much.
No.
And if you don't smoke weed that much and you start smoking weed and you mix it with whiskey, you're not going to be able to do shit but fall asleep.
It's going to be shocking that you got whiskey down your throat and enough to get you drunk if you don't drink it a lot.
Well, that's exactly. Yeah, there you go, too, because it burns.
That's not a good. That's not really a good drinking drink. You got to mix that.
Yeah. So sometime after 9 is when he demanded that his wife leave the bedroom where she'd gone to be alone.
Uh-huh.
And so he ordered her out. She got up, locked herself in the bathroom. When he broke the door in and began choking her and hitting her at first, he kept saying, "Love me," over and over again. Like
weird.
A God thing. It was, love me. And then that's when he was like, "I got to get the demon out," because she was, trying not to be choked to death.
I'm not loving him.
So that's not loving him. That's the demon fighting back.
Weird.
So if you stab her, the demon will float out, and then she'll be fine. That's what he's positing anyway.
Okay.
He testifies.
Oh, boy.
You have to if you're him.
I guess so.
If you're saying I'm crazy, you can't just sit there with your hands folded. You have to go up there and tell them what the fuck's wrong with you right away. So he told the court, this is a room full of adults in broad daylight.
Yeah.
This isn't at 2 a.m. Everybody with a bunch of, booze in them or anything.
With the bar lights just coming up and tell them to go home.
People putting, bartender putting stools up on the bar. It's not that. It is, noon. People have just eaten lunch. People are picking turkey out of their teeth right now. So he said that when he choked her, he saw her eyes grow cloudy and her tongue come out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Because,
that's a woman dying.
That means you're cutting off her oxygen. But he said he became convinced that this was actually the devil coming out of her. Oh. So him choking her and that happened, he said, "It's working."
That's called life is coming out of her, man.
Yeah, he mistook demons for life. So he said, "It's working, it's working. Let me do now. I have to do more." The devil's trying to hang on here. That's why she's not dead. So let me get a knife and I'll stab the devil out of her and then she'll be good. So he said her tongue came out of her mouth. He became convinced this was the devil coming out. His daughter at some point called for help, called one of the neighbors for help. Like, shit's going on that we just can't place into. As kids, we don't know where to put it.
This isn't the realm of normal in this house usually.
Yeah, shit's weird here. Weirder than usual. So she called for help. Ramsey then left her still alive and gasping on the floor from the choking. That's when he got the knife and stabbed her a whole bunch, and then grabbed his son and alongside him made him pray over the body. The boy said in court that, because they had to testify, the kids, which, your mother's dead, now this, Jesus Christ. The boy said that he heard his father say something like, quote, "She died for her sin, son."
Oh, no.
Which was not, she didn't do anything. She just was alive and was married to your crazy ass. So at that point, that's when he placed, so the son said that he helped place the wife's body in bed under the covers. He got in under the covers next to her. Jesus Christ. He said that, wow. He literally said that he thought she would wake up devil-free in the morning. Like if we both went to bed and then like the alarm would go up and she'd get up and go, whew, what a night I had. Yeah. Wow. I'll tell you, you're not supposed to have Mexican or like Indian before you go to bed or like Italian, a sauce and that sort of thing. But man, when you have a demon in you, that just knocks it right out of you.
Boy, do I have heartburn.
It's an agita. I got agita right here. It's just
a sip of her coffee and it all comes out of her chest.
Sometimes it's like curry. You feel like you're not supposed to have that before you go to bed. But man, I'll tell you what, when you have a demon in you before sleep and you get it stabbed out of you, it is just...
Yeah.
Whew, well, you want coffee? Oh, I'm going to go make a pot. Like, that's what he said was going to happen, what he said. So, I don't even know what to say about that. So, only when he heard the state police outside the door, he said, oh, I just killed my wife.
Yep.
That's what happened. Wow.
Gotcha.
Cops were snapping to reality for him. Oh, shit. That's when he started plunging the knife into his chest on his own. Now, obviously, there's going to be some psychological testimony here. Clearly. This isn't going to go without a doctor testifying. No layman's going to talk about this. Expert testimony was received from 3 psychiatrists. The defense called Dr. Emmanuel Tanay, who testified that Ramsey was acutely psychotic and legally insane at the time of the stabbing.
Yeah.
He's definitely insane. Legally is not my...
I don't care.
I don't know.
Or not.
He's fucking...
Yeah. A normal person doesn't do that.
As I've said before, a little fucking bonjour there. No, that's not.
No.
Especially with the kids there, and screaming, die, demon, die. If it's an act, it's a pretty good act to put on. Normally, people don't do the act during the murder. You act later.
Yeah.
Like
the murder like that is usually spur of the moment, in the heat of the moment, crazed moment that you didn't expect, and that's why this is happening.
Then later on, you're like, she had the devil in her.
Right. This is a man who's chose this path.
He's telling the kids, like, okay, that's part of it. Now come pray, and she'll come back to life. Like, I don't know if he believe that or not. So the people also called Dr. Irving Edgar and Dr. Philip Margolis. That's the state calling these people. Dr. Edgar testified on direct examination that Ramsey knew right from wrong and was not psychotic at the time he attacked his wife. It's hard to say. On cross-examination, however, he did testify, Dr. Edgar, that in view of the entire incident, Ramsey was probably psychotic following the choking of his wife.
Yeah.
For him to go, oh, good, the devil's coming out. It's working. Better go get a knife and finish it off.
Yeah.
It's like, at that point, he was probably psychotic. And you know what? I'm not a psychiatrist, but I'm going to agree with him.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah.
I think it's a little crazy what he was doing there. He said that the stabbing was, quote, bizarre behavior and probably psychotic. Die, demon, die, while you stab with your kids watching. I'd call that psychotic.
It's unbelievable.
It's something.
Yeah.
It's not fucking right, I'll tell you that. So, then the people, he said that Dr. Margolis testified that he was not, that he was either neither legally insane nor mentally ill at the time of the incident. That's the other one. So we have dueling psychiatrists, which is what they all. You can get 10 experts, and 5 are going to say one thing because it's subjective.
That's the way it works.
So unless someone is, there's very few people that everyone agrees on the diagnosis on.
Even Jeffrey Dahmer, there was differing opinions on all that.
On everybody, yeah. Absolutely.
Nutty stuff.
It's really, so that's why, when you look at like John Douglas, they just looked at it in terms of behavior and didn't put all the other stuff out of it because otherwise, how do you judge it?
The clinical diagnoses, it's going to be, there's so many.
Yeah, it's wild. So psychiatrists called by the prosecution and the defense differed over whether he was mentally ill or insane at the time of the killings. Dr. Manuel Tanay testified that for the defense that Ramsey was acutely psychotic and legally insane at the time. A lengthy taped interview between Ramsey and the Dr. Tanay was played to the court. And so they played this whole thing, and he's like, see, he's pretty out there.
Yeah.
He's pretty wacky, where he was talking about the pamphlet, and he's talking about demons, and he was like, we're going to wake up and have a demon-free life from the rest of our lives. Brother, it was beautiful. It was going to be beautiful. Like an awakening.
In his own words.
In his own words. So the Dr. Margolis testified for the prosecution, though, that Ramsey wasn't mentally ill, which contradicted this guy. So they keep going back and forth. Dr. Irving Edgar, testifying for the prosecution, initially testified that he wasn't psychotic and that it was possible that the demon story was fabricated. On cross-examination, though, Dr. Edgar testified that he was not sure if Ramsey knew right from wrong when he was choking his wife, and that he was probably psychotic after that. So no consensus on anything. Not only do the psychiatrists disagree with each other, but they disagree with themselves depending on who's asking the question in this particular case. So not helpful.
No.
Put it that way. So if you're on if you were on the jury, you'd be like,
I don't know.
I don't fucking know. Anybody here a psychiatrist? Because I don't know what's happening. Whereas if you're the judge, judges also think they know everything. So that's another thing.
That's a good point.
So Ramsey's seeing of demons was basically, the prosecution says his seeing of demons was conveniently manufactured because he knew it would be a good defense. So he said as he was killing his wife, he was weeks before that, he was basically planning this and pre-planning the murder and the defense all ahead of time, well ahead of time, which takes a lot of discipline that I feel like this guy doesn't have. I don't know.
Seems a bit reckless.
Exactly. I feel like he just kind of went off the deep end, but the prosecutor said this whole religious thing is a smokescreen. He is no more religious than anyone else. Okay. Well, he might read it differently, though, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about more or less, but
he's certainly not less than anybody else either.
I didn't think of it as a competition for who's more. I believe in God more than this motherfucker, I'll tell you what. And so if I don't kill my wife over demons, he sure as shit can't kill his. That's what it sounds like. He's competitive.
Does this guy think he's competing for the blue ribbon?
I feel like it is. Like, he ain't. Everybody in this courtroom believe in God more than him, I'll tell you what. I don't know what he's trying to do here, but he said that he's no more religious than anything else. He noted that 2 of the 3 psychiatrists who testified in the case claimed that Ramsey was able to differentiate between right and wrong at the time of his wife's killing. The inability to discriminate between right and wrong is part of the legal definition of insanity, and that the third one disagreed. But they all agreed that he never exhibited psychotic behavior in his life prior to killing his wife. This never happened before. I mean, this like weird shit, fervor and all that. This is brand new. This just came out of nowhere. Post pamphlet just lost his shit, started acting weird over a certain time. So it came out of nowhere, like he had a head injury or something, but he didn't have a head injury. So it's very, 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 very strange. The prosecutor also argued that he killed his wife because she rejected him that night. That was the argument. It had nothing to do with anything else except she rejected him and he snapped and killed her. He's saying it's something very basic rather than something very grandiose.
All right.
He said, quote, I do not feel this is the type of individual or the type of act that the legislature sought to protect under the insanity provision.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's a really hard thing to say. Closing arguments in the trial were heard here. Ramsey had, like we said, waived his right here. Fred Locke is the attorney, by the way. Fred is his name. Not that anybody gives a shit, but you kind of got to know that stuff. Attention to detail. So he thought that he would have an unlikelihood of having a sympathetic jury. So he's waiting for the verdict. Here. Verdict is here. He's tried on first-degree murder. That's the charge. Wayne County Circuit Judge Peter V. Spivak lessens the charge to second-degree murder before the verdict.
Interesting.
The jury can. You
got lesser charges.
So he does that, and the judge said there was not enough evidence of premeditation to even consider a conviction of first-degree murder, because unless you believed that for weeks he was setting up this big thing, which is pretty elaborate to believe. Right. You can't just say that definitely is true. Then other than that, it just sounds like he lost his shit.
Yeah, but it depends too, doesn't it, upon how far does premeditation have to go? Because he knocked on that door and was holding the knife, right?
Well, that's the act.
Okay.
That's the act. So holding the knife at the door is included in the act. It would be, did he set something up earlier to plan to kill her?
Yeah.
Is he setting up a defense ahead of time? So that's what the prosecution's trying to put up, is his whole defense is evidence that he was setting it up as evidence of premeditation.
Okay.
Him acting like with all his demon shit for a couple weeks, that is evidence of him setting up building his straw man.
Okay.
Which that's you can't prove that.
It's a long swing.
That's a long, exactly. And you got to take it, I guess, if you're the prosecutor, but the judge does not accept that, though. It's a swing and a miss for the judge. And the judge said there was not enough evidence for that. He's going to be sentenced. He could be given a maximum of life imprisonment with psychiatric care while in prison. If he had been acquitted by reason of insanity, like we said, he could be out in 2 months.
Sure.
As short as 2 months. The circuit judge comes back and finds him guilty of second-degree murder, but mentally ill as well. So that's the thing. Guilty, but mentally ill.
That's good news.
Which is different. Now, to talk about that, because it's a weird thing, so I found some statute here. We'll talk here. They said the major purpose in creating the guilty by mentally ill verdict is obvious. It was to limit the number of persons who, in the eyes of the legislature, were improperly being relieved of all criminal responsibility in the way of the insanity verdict. Yeah. That's what it was. In reality, there's people who are mentally fucking ill, seriously mentally ill. And they do crimes, and you have to figure out what to do with them. And in reality, again, people in the world, in the streets, just people sitting in their houses, they don't want to hear that somebody, quote, got off on something. Yeah. So if you say, oh, well, they're mentally ill, they'll be sent to a hospital, they're now angry at home because they want that person to be in a prison instead of a hospital because a hospital's too good. Because, 70s mental hospitals were just so cushy.
Right.
Tied to a fucking wall, drooling on yourself was a very cushy position to be in.
And that goes from everything from car theft to fucking murder.
Exactly.
I watched that Rikers Island documentary. They've got a wing for the people that are
fucking,
and they are fucking.
They're very mentally ill. It's true.
Disturbed.
No, there's a lot of them.
Certainly disturbed people. They didn't kill anybody.
No,
they're still dangerous.
So the legislatures are putting a point in the 70s where they have to. People are going to vote them the fuck out and things like that if they don't take a harder stance and don't let people off on these mental illnesses. But in reality, people are mentally ill.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to do?
You got to soften the blow and take that into account.
You can't, and as people in the legislature, they can't say, hey, children, as the adults here, I understand your feelings are you want people to suffer, but the reality of the world is some people are fucking crazy, and sorry if that makes you upset and you think they're getting off, but tough shit. And no one's going to tell the public that.
And also, it's our responsibility as a civilized society to fucking manage that.
Exactly.
And if the responsibility falls on us too, because look, that's our safety that's
exactly involved. You're 100% right. So they said that's the defense is saying, basically that's the only reason is to not have insanity verdicts, and that's what it is. They found a scapegoat where the jury could still stick a guy in prison and not feel like everyone's going to be mad at them for saying not guilty, but they can be like, but we thought he was mentally ill, and that does something, which really it just makes them, like I said, it just makes them medicate him probably at some point in jail. So they said that as stated in the House analysis of the bill creating the verdict, one argument in favor of the verdict was that this verdict would help juries. They said perhaps there seems to be a tendency for people to assume that someone who commits a particularly offensive crime must be insane. We see that a lot. You see the guy in Baraboo, you go, how's that not crazy?
Right.
How's Pocket Robin not crazy? How's Rouleau not crazy? How's Phillips, Oklahoma not? There's a million of them. Jesus, 200.
And still on top of that, even with that, have to be crazy bit, you still have to take into account the severity of the crime. And if it's fucking just a batshit, like this is batshit. That doesn't happen.
No, it's wild.
So the punishment has to fit the crime.
Yeah. They said juries, sometimes the defendants are not legally insane, and although it may well have been the intent of the jury that the defendants be committed for a long period of time, they were automatically released, because when they would find someone not guilty by reason of insanity, in the jury's mind, they're going to be put in a mental hospital. Yeah. They're going to be put in a facility, but they don't realize that they could be let out in 60 days, which is not what they're sentencing them to.
You judged them not guilty. I mean, what do you want? You're putting them away, sure, for a minute.
There is no in between. There should be a sentence to a hospital, maybe, or something like that, but they don't have that. They either have a prison sentence and you're mentally ill, so they know they don't think of you as anything but crazy. They don't actually help you, or go to a hospital and you can be let out at some point. They never found a middle ground there, which is interesting. They said people argue that the purpose of enacting the guilty but mentally ill verdict was to require judges, juries, and counsel to focus on the critical issue in any insanity case, criminal responsibility, as well as the frequently distracting issue of mental illness to, quote, eliminate the substantiality, reduce inappropriate insanity verdicts by compelling all participants to focus on the distinct issues in each case with hope that the fact-finding process will have less confusion and will be more likely to produce an accurate factual result.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're saying just gives you more options. The Michigan Psychiatric Society here, branch of the American Psychiatric Society, also contends that the guilty but mentally ill verdict is unconstitutional because it creates an irrational distinction. This makes sense as well. The society contends that in psychiatric terms, the definition of mental illness and insanity are the same fucking thing.
Okay.
They're saying that's the same thing. So legally, if you're saying that, you're
deeming them insane.
You're legally, the words have meanings, and if that's the legal thing, then you're doing it wrong, is what they're saying. They're saying at least call it something different if you're going to do that. They said, we note that the claim was contradicted by the testimony of a psychologist, Dr. Stephen Bank, who found, never mind that. So anyway, a study for the Center for Forensic Psychiatry in September of 1974 indicated that some 350 persons found not guilty by reason of insanity, only 20% of them suffered from mental illness sufficient to exculpate them from their crimes. Mm-hmm. So at a post-study, basically 1 in 5 were actually nuts, and everybody else was, putting it on for extra for the deal. 30% of those persons were found to have no mental illness whatsoever of everybody examined. Nothing. It was a total act. The remaining 50% were viewed as having some psychosis or neurosis, but with no evident relationship between their mental state and their crime. Mm-hmm. So that's fine. Me and you would be falling into that category. So the verdict of not guilty by reason of insanity determines a defendant's mental state at the time of the crime, not afterwards. So it doesn't matter if you're fine now.
Right.
The way the law's written, not guilty by reason of insanity, is supposed to be, were you crazy then when you did the crime?
Based on the act.
You could have got help and be better now, so that's what mental health is. But at the time, were you crazy? And that's not how it's done in court. If you sit there looking normal in court, no one's going to say, oh, he was crazy at the time. You have to be fucking crazy in court. They didn't even say Charles Manson was crazy.
It's true.
And I mean, come on.
Crazy.
Pretty fucking crazy. Or
an FBI agent.
Well, he also I don't think Charles Manson knew what he was doing. I think he was pretty much programmed that way to fuck everything up. They had a plan there. Read that Chaos book. It's really Tom O'Neill. It's pretty interesting. A lot of bullshit, I think, maybe, but also a lot of like, here's a bunch of documents and I'll read them. It's like, oh, wow, well, that's just a document from the government and it's pretty damning, one of those things. So from the 60s and shit that doesn't matter now, the good stuff. Who wants to know about now? So anyway, they said that view of these statistics, the number of persons released after this, and unless treatment of the mentally ill has progressed far beyond the level of which we are aware, one can hardly conclude that the legislature was irrational in finding the insanity verdict to have been misused, nor do available statistics support the claim that the jury compromise is actually occurring. Prior to the adoption of the guilty but mentally ill verdict, 0.024, it's like a blood alcohol level, percent of adult males arrested were found to be not guilty by the reason of insanity. Think of that, 1/4%.
Wow.
And that's what people were freaked out. That's what people were so fucking mad about.
Wow.
Because 1/4% of people were found to be insane. But when that happened, it was publicized, so people went, everyone's getting off on insanity verdicts. Mm-hmm. No, 1/4%. I'm sorry, that's not even a quarter.
No.
That's 0.024.
A quarter
way
of
less.
A quarter.
A quarter of that's
of a tenth.
So little, few people.
There are more people insane on your train when you ride into work.
Yeah. Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Jesus, probably a lot more. There and in 1982. 0.032% of adult males arrested were found not guilty by reason of insanity. So it's not a lot of people.
No.
Not a lot of people. So the statistics, you can interpret them to mean that the guilty but mentally ill verdict, having not increased insanity verdicts, has actually been completely irrelevant. Because that was the point. It was supposed to reduce them, and they're exactly the same, if not even more.
Right.
So what are you going to do?
Somebody that's in a small town in some little in rural ass America, that one person that gets off is too many.
Son of a bitch.
The system's broken.
That's what it is. Rather than everybody else, it's fine.
Right.
So the facilities here they talk about, the Dr. Dennis Jerzak, psychiatric director of the Office of Healthcare for the Department of Corrections. That is a long handle. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. He testified that at the time of this hearing, over 13,600 inmates were in the custody of the Department of Corrections, and approximately 700 new inmates were admitted each month. He said there was only one full-time psychiatrist employed by the department.
One
for 13,600 people who are in prison. Most of these people could use a talking to, could use a chat once in a while.
You don't need to get off your ass just for the people that are clinically insane.
Wow, yeah.
Everybody needs help.
Wow. He treated patients approximately 2 days per week, by the way. So he doesn't even work every day.
He's got to get to 13,000.
He was assisted by 3 consulting psychiatrists, 2 psychologists, and 1 social worker. Because of the inadequate number of psychiatric professionals and paraprofessionals available for conducting initial screening and evaluation of inmates at admission, the doctor was unable to estimate how many prisoners were actually in need of psychiatric care. There wasn't even enough doctors to figure it out. Right. How many they to make a plan to maybe do something.
If he saw 8 people a day in an 8-hour day, he's got 16 a week, and he's got to get to 13,000.
600.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I would say.
He wouldn't be able to see each person.
No, ever.
Once.
See, in 7 years at your parole hearing. So apart from 1 registered nurse who worked a daytime shift, the department did not have a professional nursing staff, and nursing duties including supervising and feeding psychiatric patients and handing them medication, were performed by guards and inmates.
Oh, my.
He testified also into repeated allegations that patients were targets of physical assault, including sexual assault by inmate nurses.
That sounds right.
People being able to medicate them, having power over them that are fucking inmates? Yeah, you can't do that. He also testified that the psychiatric services were performed on a crisis basis and that because of inadequate staffing and facilities, many mentally ill inmates were forced to remain in the general population where they're mentally ill. Yeah, that's just... You read that New Jack, Ted Conover is the author book about Sing Sing, and he just talks about how many people in there are mentally ill. He's like, it's a third of the patients at least are mentally ill, need help, don't get any. They let them sit in there and scream and bang their head against the fucking wall and get beat up by other inmates because they're sick of hearing them and shit like that.
And they're vulnerable.
They're very vulnerable. Yeah, they're not, or they're dangerous too sometimes. Either way, they should need to be helped. So, they said that sometimes it was a waste of time because of the delay in obtaining a transfer. Most of the transferred patients were returned right back to prison because they weren't crazy, in legal terms anymore. They weren't having that incident anymore because it took a week to get them to talk to somebody, even though they had a huge psychiatric whatever. Anyway, the guy concluded, we don't provide adequate treatment for anyone who is mentally ill in our system. So, yeah. Anyway, he has appeals, and the appeals are based on sentencing for the mentally ill. Because he's sentenced, you, sir, may fuck off to life in prison for this. But the problem is, it just doesn't... Basically, they go through all of this, and they said that... his lawyer said, people are scared of Bruce Ramsey. They wonder what happens if he gets out and sees another devil. Yeah, that's fair. He said, this is the lawyer. He said, quote, I call this the devil murder case.
Oh, boy.
He said, the facts are that Bruce Ramsey, a born-again Christian, gets into some kind of fight with his wife, chokes and stabs her 32 times in front of the children while yelling, let the devil out, go away, demon, die. He then forces his little boy to pray with him over the body, expecting his wife to come back to life. The police come and find him asleep in bed with his wife's body. He's like, this is fucking crazy is what he's saying. This is mentally ill. This is ridiculous. Whether you're scared he's going to see another demon or not, this guy needs some kind of help. He said the guilty but mentally ill verdict is unconstitutional because a defendant cannot be mentally ill as defined under the law and still have needed conscious intention to commit the murder. That's what I don't understand. He says, quote, how can those two conditions exist at the same time? The two are mutually exclusive. They cancel each other out. Mm-hmm. Either you're guilty or you're mentally ill. Right. Can't be both.
Okay.
So they just found that. So that's what he says anyway. He also said the verdict is unfair because the judge can tell jurors that a defendant found innocent by reason of insanity could be released in as little as 60 days. That is asking the jury to decide a case based on emotions. Hey, this guy could be out in 2 months and not logic and evidence. Sure, the judge tells the jury not to consider it when reaching their verdict, but that's like cutting open an onion in the courtroom and telling the jury not to smell it. Again, fair. They're gonna think about that. Absolutely. So, this is how it works. They're going to that. The prosecution during the appeal says that his Satanism's a total sham. It's all bullshit. He said that he conveniently manufactured the demon story because he knew it was a good defense. He played it pretty strong in front of his kids while he was doing it. So that's the only thing where I go, while he was killing her, though, he was yelling that shit. So this all goes on. There's this big appeal, a bunch of issues, including adequacy of mental care. Is he getting any care? His first, it's upheld, the first verdict in 1979. It's upheld, luckily. They said the trial court's findings are not clearly erroneous. Not clearly erroneous, but a little bit. There was a little murky. Yeah. There was sufficient evidence to support all of this findings and conclusions. So they put those there. Also, the daily lottery numbers that day were 884. It's in the same newspaper clip I found. So following a remand to the trial court for further factual findings, because that's one of his appeals, they remand for that, but it's not getting rid of a sentence or anything. The court granted his application for leave to appeal, so he could still appeal. Now, this case went totally under the radar.
Yeah.
After this, I don't know what happened, but I do know that he is out of prison. He was out of prison by 1987.
Oh, 7 years?
Not only was he out, 77 is when it happened. Yeah. Not only was he out of prison by 77, I don't know, or 87. I don't know what the laws are for voter registration for felons in Michigan, but I don't know if it's 5 years to get your rights back or what the waiting period is. Sure. Some states you can get it right away, but he is registered to vote on November 3rd, 1987.
Oh, my.
So whatever the time period is, that's how long he was been out. So I don't know, but that's a long...
That's fast.
That's fast. Yeah. That's really fast. Somehow he not only got something turned over, but out of prison.
He served that... Right. He served a sentence for murder and then was able to vote.
That's wild. He's 77 years old.
And he's out.
He's out there.
My God.
He's in a small town in Michigan right now.
Unbelievable.
So keep an eye out. If you hear anybody yelling about demons or devils, take it seriously. That motherfucker might be stabbing people, so watch out for that.
Unbelievable.
See an old guy waving about demons and shit.
Yeah.
Just get on the other side of the sidewalk.
Kidnapping governors and
shit. Who knows? It's going to happen up there. He might have been a part of that. So that's everybody. Jesus Christ, what a disaster. That's Michigan. That is Brownstown Township.
Yeah.
I wanted to call it Brooktown. Brownstown Township there. Holy shit, what a weird story.
Unbelievable. What the
Yeah.
How the hell?
We had to wrap up all the 200 episodes with one bow of weird for 200. My. And I have to tell everybody, we have some crazy shit coming up.
Good.
Have a wild case in Maine that's, out there like crazy. We have one of the most barbaric, insane crime sprees I've ever heard of in my life on Long Island that we're going to do one of these days for New York. And then we have one in Oklahoma coming up. So expect those in the next 3-4 weeks. Right through the end of the new year. We're going to be killing it, Jimmy, for lack of a better term.
Birth of the new year. Get rid of this bullshit.
That said, if you like this and if you continue to listen to this, you should get on Apple Podcasts, give us a review. That purple icon, very important. Give us a review. It does help a lot. Drives us up the charts. We don't know why, but it does. So if you want to help the show, that's a great way to do it. Another way to do it would be go to shutupandgivememurder.com. All of your info for all the shows are there. Merchandise. Get your Cheer Up Bitch sweater designs, Christmas sweater designs, because they are hilarious.
Yes.
And it comes in everything, not just sweaters, obviously. T-shirts and bags and whatever the hell we got on there. So check that out. So much fun. Get all your merchandise. Check out the new dates for live shows as they're moved. We'll be reposting them and everything. And speaking of live shows, virtual live show, another one. Yes, January the 29th, and we're going to do a regular show just like we would do a live show on the road.
Right.
Same shit. It's going to be a live show.
Pictures and all that shit.
Pictures, everything, real case.
Can't wait.
Same thing. Yeah, the prisoner dating game was a dry run.
All right.
We want to do a test run and see how it works, and we figured out we needed better mics, so now we got that, and it's going to be a wonderful production and everything, and we can't wait to present that to everybody out there. So tickets are not on sale yet. When they are on sale, we'll let you know. Don't worry about that. So January the 29th, do that. Listen to Crime and Sports as well, if you haven't yet, because we did murder this week.
We did.
Listen to that. Listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie, because we did Twilight this week.
Because James wanted to murder this week.
Oh, my God. I could have said, cast out the demons. I would have for this movie.
Yeah.
You put Kristen Stewart or Robert Pattinson or any of them in front of me, I'd cast those demons right out this weekend. So, check all of that out. Follow us on social media. We're at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram as well. And Patreon, of course. Patreon bonus episodes. We do so much bonus stuff for you. And we take that shit seriously. Those are like the funniest things, the bonus episodes. So much fun. Last week for Crime and Sports, we did Mark Chmura, the allegedly babysitter molesting tight end for the Green Bay Packers, and then we did Thanksgiving Day murders throughout time. It was so much fun. And next week we'll have 2 more bonus episodes for you, and they're going to be just as crazy.
Right.
So do all of that, everything there and more over at patreon.com/crime and sports. Anybody over the $5 level gets access to everything, and everybody who donates anything will include also a shout out from Jimmy, end of the show, in our producer segment. He will fuck your name up royally.
Absolutely.
So do all of that. You'll also get your name fucked up royally, and you'll get wonderful karma if you go to PayPal and use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
You're welcome.
Another way to make a donation. So with that said, I need to hear the names of the people who I would never think are full of demons that I need to cast out.
Listen to these demons.
Please hit me with these wonderful demon names. Drop them on me now, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are Cameron Kushwara, Maria Kip Sousley, John Miller, and he donated twice.
Wow, thank you.
He also has had COVID twice.
Oh, my God.
Unbelievable, this poor bastard.
Good Lord.
Hang in there, John.
Sorry thank you.
Janine Durbeck and Talina Jensen, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Jake Nasso, Mark Whismer, Jordan Bennett, still, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jordan.
Nicholas
awesome.
Levitt, and they just bought a truck, by the way.
Hey,
Congratulations,
congrats.
Jordan and Simon.
Good for you guys.
Nicholas Levitt, I said that. Carol Braun sticking around. Thank you, Carol. Denise Anderson, RJ Harmon, Aaron Shiflett, Dee Ari, I think, A-R-E. It could be R or Ari or Air.
All right.
Thank you, Dee. Jolene Robinson, Donna Kat Sinculo, Jackie Marin, Kim Flederman, I think that's right, Deb... Oh, boy. It's already going downhill. Ramondos. Oh, Ramondos.
Hey.
That's not right either. No, Jules and John Harris, and I think they're in Pennsylvania. No, they're not. Austin Lomax and Sam Cranswick. Thank you guys so much. You guys are actual
wow.
heroes. Thank you. Other producers this week are Thomas Smith, Jennifer Baird, Teresa Ann Brown, Nicole Lopez, Andrew Sullivan, Robbie Barton, Tracy Renninger, Catherine Lano, Kyle O'Rourke. What is this? Afra Tulip? That's not right. I apologize. It might be. Probably not, though. Jennifer Visconti, Katerina Niadzolka, Alexis Amos, Christine Harrington, Jacqueline Hannaford, Peyton Meadows, Amanda Knight, Bradley Hinkle. What is this? And what did I do? Oh, that's on the next line. No, it's not. Dad Roy? Oh, and his dad, Roy.
Oh, and his dad, Roy.
I was going to ask you, and his dad, do you want to guess his name?
Roy.
Decca Castleberry, Samuel Hunt, Gabrielle Gray, Matthew Morris, Samantha Danielson, John Kimbrough, Daniel Barbier, Santiago Quinones, Stephen Elwell, Brian Crosby, Laura Teisner, James Martyr, Liz Vasquez, Ann Edwards, Travis Goodrich, Emily Henry Gillis. Baby Yoda, Janice Hill, Pink Zebra, Kristen with no last name, Reed Polk, David with no last name, Kim Taylor, Sam Shore, happy birthday, Austin Grover, Jessica with no last name, Madison McDonald, Evan Glidwell, Alan Caruso, Samantha Costin. I think that's right. Jessica Gore. Mary with no last name. Josh, oh boy, Widgedo.
Oh, that's a weird name.
That's
Josh, oh boy.
Terrible last name. Melissa Walker. Gino Marcello. He works over at Oakwood. And I believe, yes, it's true. He lost his mom or his dad.
Oh, no.
Lost a fucking family member.
I'm sorry about that.
I apologize, Gino. Hang in there, man. Phil McGroin. Yeah, gotcha. Taylor Walden, Ashley White, Leslie Hull, Anna L., Anita Martinez, in the memory of Matt Walker from Matt Villanueva. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Terribly sorry about your friend. Charles Butel, John Mole, Jen Pollock Bianco, Lou Weber, Ben Heather. Yes.
Butel, was that one name?
Or Butel, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's my friend. I don't know that guy.
Maybe you know him?
He's a good guy.
Butel?
So. Yeah,
it's possible.
Good dude.
Thanks, Butel.
Thank you.
Ben Heather and Hannah showed him the show through the Rulo episode. So
oh, boy.
Good
Wow,
good
got
work,
in on the dirty side.
Hell of a swing.
Yeah.
Brittany with no last name. Tom Olson, Gregory Swainston, John Clarkin, god damn it, Stina Oakes, Magnus Quancock, that can't be right, Kaylee Stillions, Rabbi Shmulovich.
Every week.
I know.
I love them.
It's unbelievable. Kiert Neeram, Karen Shalene, Natalie Haynes, Glenda Winfield, Gregory Burr. Happy birthday to Athena Happias.
Yeah.
I don't know
Athena,
how to say her
yeah,
last
she's cool
name.
as hell.
She's wonderful,
I
though.
love her. She's awesome.
Robertson Simon. It might be Simon Robertson. I'm not sure. Morgan Schwartz, Michael Schmidt, Kristen. Nope, that's Crystal Ferguson. Joanne Ahern, Jude Kendall, Kyle Francis, Cassina Horton, Fat Asset. Fatacet.
Hey.
I don't know. Kristen Brennan, or is it Drennan? It's Brennan, I think. Carrie Wilson, Anthony Arzaga, Jessica Stewart, Sarah Seward, Don Griggs. Oh boy. Nope, that's a Z. Ziaxia. That's not right either.
Okay.
Zhaixxa.
Damn.
It's like a last
like
name
a
of
science
a porn
fiction
actor.
movie.
Or that.
Yeah.
Lisa Tucker. Anthony sent me money because he didn't like my bullshit Chipotle recipe, and he would like us to go get real Chipotle. Other producers are Karen Bruce, Joy Wagner, Jay Alder, Jay Bird Ford. Damn it. Brian Bryce, I think. Alex Manning. Jesus Christ. Era Abrahamian? No. Tara Jacobson. Shannon with no last name. John Deck. Alexa Tuwalt. Jennifer Klepacki. Zara. Nope, that's Sarah Zalewski. That's why, because there's a Z in her last name. Jake Cowley, I think. Spectre with no last name. Loretta Dillon. Chris with no last name. Aaliyah Maxey. Julia Ransom. Myra. Caitlin Cha. Nope. Alexia. Nope, that's Alicia Lowe. Dave Greer. David Allen's. Yep.
Obviously.
Right.
Duh. Kathleen
Ferguson. Mallory Kennedy. Chris Ridding. God damn it. Patrick Allen. Patrick McHugh. Carissa Ryan, Ginny Evans, Connor, oh boy. Nugget, that's the last name.
That didn't seem that bad. It seems like you could have got that.
I'll make it difficult.
You got that.
Roger, Miss Spager, Sarah Rowe, Eric Hunt, Jeff Dackel, Dilk. No, Teresa Boat Gerlin shirt. What? Oh, girl in shirt. Got it? It's about the girl in the shirt. Katie Jesse, Dustin Manley, Jennifer Lance, Joshua Chandler, Alana Crenard, Hunter Blake, Mikey Fairley, Trey Litton. God damn it. Sarah with no last name. Christina Peters, Alyssa Camacho, Stephen Gibbs, Cassie Gilbert, Josh McGrew, John Haberland, Grace, goddamn it, Dyer, Dawn Johnson.
Jesus.
Dawn
Johnson's not a hard name.
The woman's spelling of Dawn.
Yes.
Yeah, got it. I wrote it terribly. Jessica Bennett, Michael Delancey, Peyton Brewer, Dirt Girl, Tamara Carpenter, Liz Line, Ryan Carter, Kate Peterson, Julie Ball, Janine Bonadell. It's Italian, that's why.
Hey, you're going to mess it up.
Alexis, nope, that's Alex Lopes. Kelly with no last name. Anthony and Kara Guglielmo.
Again.
I got it.
Sorry, paisans.
Saska Shepherd.
Fuck them all up.
What the fuck? Alicia, nope, yes. Eliza. Alita Ubenius.
Collect yourself.
Unbelievable.
You
Kyle Burkhardt, Alexandra Pressler, Robert Wagner, probably not the one that killed that chick.
I assume it's
Daniel,
number 2, yeah.
Daniel Arnold, Wolf with no last name, John Miller.
Blitzer, he doesn't want to call himself out.
Or the guy that cleans up murders. Mackenzie Sanders, Joseph Merkel, James Sheely, Kyla Baker, Alex Dew, Brennan with no last name, Shelby Hart, Brianna Engel, probably Kurt's daughter, Tyler Coppins, Christina Biasalo Izaquera. No.
Wow.
Robert Lerma, Ricky Shorts, Marin Ahern, Lauren A., Gianna.
Ricky Shorts and Richard Pants is his father.
Cousin Dickie Socks.
Yeah.
Marin Ahern, I said that. Gianna Young, what is this? Allison Johns, Deanna Roadcap, Kelly Tyler Carrie. That's what it is. Kelly and Tyler Harrington and their son Mark McNugget or MacNugget. He spelled it MacNugget.
All right.
I'll bet it's a McNugget, and he
take it.
Fucked up. Natasha Zarnstrarf, Daniel Brown, Hannah Kern, Sivan, Tracy Williams, Ashley Bart. What is this? Bartgees. Taylor Vasta, like pasta. Hunter Knight. We got a few more. Here we go. Megan and Jay Tuharski, Rihanna Klein, Robin Heyer, Jeff Barros, Molly Malay? I think it's Mala. You get it?
Yeah.
I think that's right. Allie Thornton, Barb Goza, Eric Berg, Allison with no last name, Robert Thompson, Jordan Collard, Christine Semple, Darren Levinsky, Cynthia Dean, Amber Hart, Emma with no last name, A. Brever, I think, Josh Palace. Nope, that's Place. Jared Pitts, Melanie McGinnis, Teresa Brower, Amanda Scott Torelli, Jorge Torres, Jonathan Geiger, Martine Linda Burkett. What? Linda Berger.
That broke you.
Nicole Blaker, Mark Tarzanelli. Fuck. Sarah Billinghurst, Clayton Foster, Francesca Corendi, Cheer Up with no bitch, Taylor Mays, Joan Hutchison, Kyle Walker, that's John Cornejo.
Hey, Cornejo.
It's possible. George Wright, Joe Cassidy, McKenna Misfelt, Crystal Parker, Ben with no last name, Sab C, Enda McCallan, Nadia Blumstrand, Mark Yoder, Jessica Cummins, Megan Yarb. Okay.
He said K. I got to collect myself.
Here's the thing. It's my penmanship. And people are like, print it out, bro. I can't do that because I can't do it in order.
Yeah. It becomes more difficult.
Alexis Presson, Linnell Ionton, David Malloy, Eric McDonald, Patrick Johnson, Trisha Zavala, Aaron Everett, Martin Lynch, Justin Michael Bard, Maria with no last name, Tiffany Queepert, Aaron with no last name, E.S., and that her name's Emily. I don't know what her last name is. Megan Locke, Mark Howard, Ellen Jones, J.D. Fogarty, April Rush, Jessica Finch, Diane Taylor, Joe Gallagher, Eliud Uribe, Brandon Calvin, Robin Owens, Logan Beck, Samantha Costin, Mackenzie Vaught, I think, Justina Pasavegis.
Wow, yeah, you sure about that?
I think so. Dixie Hupp, Michelle Madel, Zach Michael, Andrew Freeman, Christopher Centurani, Joe Fogarty, Paige Midgley, Drew Shockley, Tinell Bettenhouse, Alicia Cox, Nathan, that's just Nate Huffnagel, Valerie Lynn Woods, Russell Long, I was super jacked, Elizabeth Airy Hood, Timothy Young, Dylan Wayne Stewart, Andrew Chapman, Stacy Cole, Terrence Caliquit, Sarah Falvo, James McMahon, Noah Delmfort, Katrina and Amanda, no last names, Jonathan Usery, Patrick Miller, James Dorsey, Trey Calhoun, Cassandra Schilling, William Gwild, Jennifer Brashears, Silas Ortegren. It's his birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm not going to be good at this. Christian Clark, Hannah Corbett, James Curtis, Christina Johansson, Kate Hero, Kelly with no last name, Tristan Ward, Brad Kane, Patricia Vincent, Brittany Grimes, Lisa Klein, Robert Esparza, Rebecca Perote, E. Bryant, Marina Buell, I think, Charles Lewis, Caitlin Gordy, Cheryl, nope, that's Cheryl, Laprade. Tracy, I got them both wrong. Tracy Stouffer, Tawny Lynn, Matthew Healy, Stephanie, oh boy, Akadieter. Nope.
You're almost there, Jimmy. Got hit with a curveball at the end.
Lisa Byard, Evan Jade, Timothy Hamill, Tasha with no last name, Madeline Walker, Joshua Stuff, Sherry Eckert, Hunter with no last name, J030113. I don't know.
Wow.
Might be a birth. I don't know. Probably.
Who the hell knows?
Beth
Half of Social
Carnes.
Security?
Yeah, it's a prison number. Stephanie Bogeman, and all of our patron sponsors. You guys are the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. Honestly, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for everything this
really
year.
Unbelievable.
This has been a crazy year, and as we've seen, I mean, big clubs go out of business, all this stuff happens, and you guys have kept us afloat and kept us in business, even though we couldn't go on the road,
right?
Which is normally kind of how we make our living. Yep. You guys... basically, if we hustle on Patreon, you guys will hustle for us, and you are happy to do that stuff.
You've done it.
We're happy to do it for you. We just want to keep you guys. I know it's been shitty for everybody, so we want to keep everybody, hopefully get some laughs a couple times a week and all that sort of stuff. So thank you for all your support this year. Honestly, it means everything to us. Jimmy, how can they thank you while you're thanking them?
They can find me on social media, and they did today with Spotify's Rap 2020.
Those are cool.
Thank you guys so much for
tag
tagging
us in that. We like that shit.
It's really cool to see how many of you are listening to this, and for how much fucking time. It's really mind-boggling.
It is.
Mind-blowing. I'm so flattered. So thank you very much. Where can they find you?
I am at Jimmy P. Is funny. Just copy and paste my name. You'll find me on there somewhere. You guys know how to. Everybody out there knows how to find people.
You've done a great job.
You know how to do it. You found the show, so find us there.
Stick around.
That said, you know what? Coming at you for another 200.
Yeah.
We're still going to be here. You're not going to be able to get rid of us. We enjoy this too much. As long as everybody keeps listening, we will keep doing it. So until then, and until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.